Chapter 1066 Evil in Chaos. Chapter 1066 Evil in Chaos. Not bad. Hanju thought as he looked at the 9 divine stars. Then, he began to check his emails, and discovered that the most active person in the past 10 million years was not Han Huang, not Huang Zuantian, but Zhao Shuangqiuan. Many good friends were besieging him, and the number of times he was attacked was also in the mass emails. TSK. Was he following Han Huang's path? It seemed that rivaling all living beings had already become the genius's supreme goal. Hanju noticed that Zhao Shuangqiuan had established the 9 extremes orthodoxy. Could this be the prelude of the 9 chaos? Interesting. Wouldn't it be even more explosive for the 9 divine stars to fight against the 9 extremes orthodoxy in the future? Yes, that's it. Hanju's goal for the 9 divine stars directly grew to the 9 chaos. This was more meaningful. Hanju smiled and didn't say anything else. He began to check on Huang Zuantian. Although he was attacked, sealed, and devoured from time to time, Huang Zuantian had always been alive. Why isn't primordial origin here? Could it be because of Han Huang's previous performance? Hanju thought silently. This was not a good thing. The longer primordial origin delayed, the more Huang Zuantian suffered. He secretly teleported to the main Dao field, took out the Book of Misfortune, and started cursing primordial origin. However, his curse missed. The other party couldn't be cursed. Although the Book of Misfortune was an ultimate supreme treasure, it had never been to the ancient primordial world. Its karma couldn't involve the ancient primordial world. What a good place. It was suitable for cultivation. Hanju sighed in his mind. However, since the Book of Misfortune had been taken out, there was no reason to put it back. He would let the 9th chaos bear primordial origin sins. Hanju started cursing the 9th chaos. 5 days later, his lifespan began to decrease. Recently, the chaos providence had increased greatly. Hanju had to spend more lifespan to prevent the 9th chaos from breaking through this time. 100 million years of lifespan. 10 billion years of lifespan. A trillion years of lifespan. 100 trillion years. 1 quadrillion years. 10 quadrillion years. 100 quadrillion years. Hanju saw the email that 9th chaos was injured, but there were no new injuries. He decided to continue cursing. Hanju paused after spending 1.3 quintillion years of his lifespan. An email appeared in front of him. Because of your curse, your good friend 9th chaos Dao heart shattered, and he developed mental demons. Even a powerful Dao creator would develop mental demons? Hanju didn't dare to continue, afraid that the 9th chaos would go mad and slaughter the innocent. He put away the Book of Misfortune and looked at the chaos. Indeed, the chaos order collapsed. The edge absorbed countless grudges and gave birth to evil devils. They were formed by the 9th chaos mental demons and were extremely savage and terrifying. However, there were many chaotic experts. These evil devils could not threaten the chaos foundation. Hanju returned to the 3rd Dao field and went to visit Emoju. On the other side, in a mysterious dark space, 2 figures emitting divine light gathered. One of them had a huge head with 8 eyes and was ghastly and terrifying. The other looked like a human, but his true appearance could not be seen. Chaotic consciousness, formless transcendent deity. Do you sense it? The chaotic consciousness asked. The formless transcendent deity replied, yes, the chaotic rule is in chaos again. It seems that his cultivation is in trouble. It's not that simple to surpass the Tao creator realm. The chaotic consciousness said, there are more and more evil devils in the chaos. I can't deduce their background. I'm afraid it's related to him. This is not good. The formless transcendent deity was silent. Although he's domineering, his current attitude towards us is already considered gentle. We wouldn't be as magnanimous as him. It won't be simple if he's possessed. The chaotic consciousness continued with a complicated tone. The formless transcendent deity asked, but if he really is possessed, what is the reason? The chaotic consciousness said, perhaps the immeasurable destruction Venerable knows. With that, a figure appeared. It was the immeasurable destruction Venerable. His figure was much larger than the formless transcendent deity, like a mountain compared to a small hill. The immeasurable destruction Venerable said, I know the reason. What's the reason? Dark Forbidden Lord. What? Dark Forbidden Lord? The chaotic consciousness was a little surprised. He was the earliest Tao creator to pay attention to the Dark Forbidden Lord. A long time ago, he had felt that the Dark Forbidden Lord was very dangerous. But too many living beings in the chaos pretended to be him. Too many living beings might be the Dark Forbidden Lord. After all, the chaos did not belong to him. He didn't dare to kill without restraint. That's right. He asked me and the Divine Might Heavenly Sage to investigate the Dark Forbidden Lord. The formless transcendent deity said. Speaking of which, the Dark Forbidden Lord and the Divine Might Heavenly Sage rose at the same time. However, what happened previously proved that the Dark Forbidden Lord was someone else. We can't suspect him. The chaotic consciousness said. The Divine Might Heavenly Sage has also been cursed. The two sides are probably enemies. The Divine Might Heavenly Sage's rise was already unbelievable. Perhaps he used some kind of fortuitous encounter. This fortuitous encounter might have given birth to an opposite force. The two Tao creators were silent and pondered. Where's Nirvana? When will he arrive? The chaotic consciousness asked. The immeasurable destruction Venerable replied. I can't contact him. He should still be in seclusion. The chaotic consciousness suddenly asked. Could it be him? Could the Divine Might Heavenly Sage be related to him? The two Tao creators fell silent again. A Tao creator couldn't be kind to another Tao creator, so they were very wary of each other. The formless transcendent deity said, all right, let him guess. We're only Tao creators who are about to be suppressed. Instead of thinking about this, why don't you think about how to deal with it? What should we do if what we guessed happens? The immeasurable destruction Venerable said, we have to join forces with the other Tao creators. But we will be easily discovered if we do this. The chaotic consciousness said, let's do it here. We can rope in the other two Tao creators and open our hearts. We can only gamble. The two Tao creators hesitated for a moment before nodding. In the Taoist temple of the third Tao field, Hanju was cultivating when a line of words suddenly appeared in front of him. The chaotic consciousness sent you a dream. Do you accept? Hanju ignored him. His seclusion period was not over yet. How could it be interrupted? Thousands of years later, the immeasurable destruction Venerable sent you a dream. Do you accept? Ignore. How annoying. Hanju was unhappy. Another 100,000 years passed. Someone sent another dream. The formless transcendent deity sent you a dream. Do you accept? So many? Did something happen in the chaos? Hanju opened his eyes and looked at the chaos. Everything was fine. His good friends were still alive. It was probably a trap. He closed his eyes again. He waited until his 10 million years of seclusion were up before opening his eyes again. Hanju, who was already 170 million years old, thought for a moment and sent a dream to the immeasurable destruction Venerable. The dream was a blank domain. Hanju asked when he saw the other party, what is it? Why did you visit my dream? The immeasurable destruction Venerable was silent for a moment before saying, why didn't you accept it? I was cultivating. You were not the only one. There were two others. What's the matter? Hanju asked in confusion. His performance dispelled the other party's suspicion. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1067 Tao Creators Join Forces. Chapter 1067 Tao Creators Join Forces. Come to the blank domain. I'll bring you to a place. The immeasurable destruction Venerable looked at him for a while before speaking. Hanju asked warily, where? You'll know when you come. With that, the immeasurable destruction Venerable forcefully broke through the dream. Hanju opened his eyes and asked in his mind, is it dangerous to meet the immeasurable destruction Venerable now? 2 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue? No. Hanju secretly heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that it was not a trap. Actually, he wasn't afraid. He had a way to escape even if he was trapped. His transcendent rule had long been scattered into countless parts. He could revive at any time even if he died. In a sense, a Tao creator could not be killed. Hanju immediately headed to the blank domain. In next to no time, he was enveloped by the immeasurable destruction Venerable's power. He didn't resist and let him take him away. Hanju's vision blurred. Then he arrived in a mysterious dark space. His will swept out and discovered that this space was endless. It was actually larger than the entire chaos. There was no life here, and it was absolutely empty. Vast auras descended. They were the immeasurable destruction venerable, the chaotic consciousness, and the formless transcendent deity. Hanju was secretly curious. They shouldn't be surrounding him. After all, killing him like this was impossible. A Tao creator wouldn't be so stupid. The chaotic consciousness said, "Fellow Taoist Han, you're really an ascetic. You ignored us even though we visited you in your dreams." Hanju said, "I'm not worried because I didn't offend you. I need to focus on cultivating." The formless transcendent deity said, "The chaos suffered many waves recently, and evil devils have appeared. We gathered for this matter. Now that the great Tao worlds have already fused with the chaos, we will all be affected if something changes in the chaos." So that was it. Hanju frowned. "I also sensed it before and thought that it was a sign of the great Tao immeasurable calamity, so I didn't care. Could there be another reason?" The chaotic consciousness told him their guess. Hanju's expression turned ugly. "What should I do?" Hanju was in a dilemma, as if he was thinking of a desperate situation. His expression darkened. The formless transcendent deity said, "Now we have to join forces and prepare early to protect our great Tao world." The immeasurable destruction venerable looked at Hanju and said, "Although your great Tao world isn't close to the chaos yet, it's only a matter of time. Therefore, let's join forces. We won't be discovered by that existence." Hanju asked in his mind, "Does the ninth chaos really not know this world? 100 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue?" "Continue." "No, that's good." Hanju looked at the three Tao creators and asked, "Then, how should we prepare?" The chaotic consciousness said, "We create clones and teach Tao techniques to increase the strength of the various great Tao worlds to resist the chaotic evil devils." "That's it." Hanju showed a frown. "We can't directly interfere with the chaos. That will alarm him. The number of chaotic evil devils is increasing. Only by protecting our living beings can we be prepared for the next step," the chaotic consciousness said. Hanju could only nod in agreement. The immeasurable destruction venerable said, "Come here if you think of anything in the future. This space has already been opened for you. News can't be spread." Hanju said, "I know what not to do." The Tao creators chatted for a while more before leaving. Hanju returned to the third Tao field and started to think. Just now, when the Tao creators mentioned the Dark Forbidden Lord, they all suspected the most mysterious Tao creator. Hanju was thinking about how to use the Dark Forbidden Lord next. He only had one goal. He wanted to delay the ninth chaos progress and become a creator Tao first. He wouldn't help the other Tao creators overthrow the ninth chaos because he did not have a good impression of them. He had to consider the balance. At this moment, the leader of the 9 divine stars, Han Zhongdao, woke up. He asked softly, "Progenitor, is there anything you're worried about? We're willing to resolve your problem for you." The other descendants also woke up. It was the same for Shani. Hanju smiled. "It's nothing. It's just that more and more evil devils have appeared in the chaos. I can't deduce their roots, but they can't pose a threat to the chaos for the time being. Cultivate well. If you want to serve me, you have to at least reach the perfected Great Tao Supreme Realm." Perfected Great Tao Supreme Realm. Their expressions changed drastically. It was the same for Shani. The perfected Great Tao Supreme Realm was equivalent to the peak of cultivation. They actually had to cultivate to the end before they could do anything for the progenitor. This was too terrifying. They were all mortals before they came here. They panicked when they thought of how long they would be in seclusion in the future. Hanju saw through their thoughts, but didn't comfort them. They had to endure this matter. A voice came from outside at this moment. "Master, I'm here to visit." Su Qi. He first entered the 100-peak Immortal River and found Hanju's clone before being teleported to the third Tao field. Hanju doted on Su Qi very much, so his clone also doted on him. He didn't ask him what it was and directly let him come. Of course, before teleporting, his clone had already checked Su Qi. There were no other powers or traces on his body. Hanju said, "Come in." The door to the Taoist temple opened, and Su Qi immediately stepped in. The former Jinx was already one of the sages with the highest status in the heavenly Tao. His bearing was extraordinary, and he did not look like a Jinx at all. The 9 divine stars and Shani looked at him with curious eyes. Su Qi was also stunned when he saw them. He didn't expect there to be so many people in the Taoist temple. He stopped in front of Hanju and knelt down respectfully. Hanju smiled and asked, "What is it?" Su Qi looked around. "Go ahead. They're all my descendants and won't be able to leave for hundreds of millions of years. You don't have to worry about them knowing your matters." Hanju smiled. The 9 divine stars smiled bitterly. Su Qi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How boring would hundreds of millions of years be? Su Qi took a deep breath and said, "Master, I don't want to stay in the heavenly Tao anymore. I want to return to cultivate and serve you. You can speak if you have a mission for me. My life in the heavenly Tao is too comfortable. It's so comfortable that I've already been surpassed by many juniors." The strongest in the heavenly Tao was also a great Tao sage. Those geniuses who had reached the great Tao supreme realm, such as Zhao Shuangquan, Azure Heaven Mystic, Ling and others, left the heavenly Tao and Qin established a force outside alone. The current heavenly Tao had already reached its limit. Be it strength or faction, it could not increase anymore. Hanju looked at him and said, "Then stay here and cultivate." With that, the space in the Taoist temple suddenly expanded. It was now spacious enough to accommodate the 12 of them. Su Qi hurriedly thanked him. Hanju began to preach the Tao to them, and also tested Su Qi's current understanding of the Tao technique, to see if his comprehension was lacking. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1068 Chess Pieces of All Sides, Darkness Appears. Chapter 1068 Chess Pieces of All Sides, Darkness Appears 1,000 years later. Hanju's lecture ended. He discovered that although Su Qi's cultivation level had improved, it was very slow. It seemed that the heavenly Tao had really made Su Qi relax. How should he wake him up? Hanju suddenly thought of something. He wanted Su Qi to seek refuge with the Creation Emperor Court. After his bad luck lost control, he would have no choice but to enter the transcendent world, just like in the mortal world. Hanju revealed a mysterious smile. His descendants were still immersed in Tao comprehension and didn't wake up. Hanju brought Su Qi to the main Taoist temple. He handed this mission to him when he woke up. "I see that you're not very willing to cultivate diligently. I'll send you to the Creation Emperor Court to fight for opportunities. I'll visit you in your dreams in the future and preach the Tao to you," Hanju said. Su Qi looked up with a happy expression. "I'm ashamed to say this. I think so too. If I cultivate diligently, in terms of potential, I can never catch up to others. Only by pursuing opportunities can I have a chance." Hanju said meaningfully, "The endless era is about to arrive. Indeed, countless opportunities are about to arrive. However, don't be used and schemed against like in the immeasurable calamity. Remember to visit me in my dreams in any situation." Ashamed, Su Qi hurriedly said, "I won't repeat the same mistake. If I encounter trouble that I can't resolve, I'll definitely look for you and won't force myself anymore." 11 Hanju said, "I'm prepared to make you lose control of the great Tao power of your death fiend celestial. This way, you can subconsciously go to the transcendent world. I'll erase this memory and give it back to you when you succeed." Su Qi was first stunned, but then he instantly understood Hanju's intentions. He said, "No problem. It's a good opportunity for me to suffer and awaken my past temperament. It'll make me shape up." Hanju was very glad upon seeing his fighting spirit. "Not bad, not bad. Cultivate for a period of time here first. I'll especially send a clone to guide you. We'll leave in 10,000 years, Hanju said in a low voice. Su Qi naturally had no objections. 10,000 years was not a long time for him. Just like that, Hanju left a clone to accompany Su Qi. He used his ultimate origin power to fuel the great Tao power of the Death Fiend Celestial, wanting to awaken the former Jinx. Hanju began to check his emails after his main body returned to the third Tao field. It was as chaotic as ever. The chaotic assembly did not cause much of a stir this time. The attention of all living beings was still on the great Tao immeasurable calamity. Hanju suddenly noticed that Pangu and Hongjun had both begun to become active. he could see that their providence had significantly increased. It seemed that these two were also about to enter the calamity. Hanju closed his eyes and continued cultivating after reading the emails. 10,000 years later, Su Qi, who had a portion of his memories erased by Hanju's clone, left the heavenly Tao and went to seek refuge with the Creation Emperor court. Su Qi just didn't remember that his bad luck had been strengthened by Hanju and would lose control. It was still stable now, but as long as he encountered a fierce battle, it was very easy for him to lose control and go berserk. The reason was that Hanju hoped to deceive the world. It would be too obvious if he rushed to the transcendent world with uncontrollable bad luck. It would be fine if it was after a period of time. Now, it was not only the chaos. The transcendent world was also about to face a calamity. Chaotic battles were endless, and countless experts had been driven mad. Such a development was very reasonable. Time passed. 10 million years passed quickly. Hanju opened his eyes. He was already 180 million years old, and automatically obtained a creation heavens chosen. His gaze passed through the chaos, and through the chaotic crack he spied on transcendence. He discovered that Su Qi had already stepped into the great Tao Supreme realm. Misfortune had completely erupted. He had already become famous in the past millions of years. To be precise, it was a bad reputation. Su Qi took in a disciple after joining the Creation Emperor court. That disciple died tragically when he went out to fight, causing Su Qi to be extremely angry. Misfortune erupted, and after realizing that he could not restrain his bad luck, he left the Creation Emperor court and began to travel alone. Wherever he passed, bad luck filled the air, and the stars dried up. The spirit qi dissipated, and the living beings found it even more difficult to withstand. Han Ling and Han Huang tried to help him, but their strength could not compare to Hanju's ultimate origin power. Although Su Qi lacked his memories, he also realized that this was his master's true goal, so he didn't visit Hanju in his dreams. He hadn't encountered a desperate situation yet. Now he was no longer a pawn that could be slaughtered at will. He could definitely run rampant in the void as a great Tao Supreme. Not bad. Hanju thought silently. He saw the formless transcendent deity's clone preaching everywhere. The formless transcendent deity did not seem to care about Su Qi. Hanju began to deduce and discovered that this fellow had also arranged many pawns in the chaos, Shirtian, and consciousnessless. His methods were similar to Hanju's. In any case, he was causing trouble for the other Tao creators. It was not only the formless transcendent deity, the chaotic consciousness, and the immeasurable destruction venerable also had a plan. Good fellow, they had just formed an alliance, and were already using such methods. Did I lead the way? Hanju noticed that Yu Yuan, who had inherited the first chaos will, had already left the Creation Emperor court. He was being hunted down and by chance came to the ultimate origin world through the netherworld. Apart from Yu Yuan, cultivators from the other great Tao worlds also infiltrated the ultimate origin world. Although the ultimate origin world had a slow start, the ultimate origin chi suppressed the cultivation of the outsiders. Therefore, these intruders did not cause trouble for the time being. They were all very well behaved and hid in a corner to cultivate. They didn't know that they were pawns and only thought that this was their opportunity. Hanju hesitated to throw them out, but on second thought, this would offend the other Tao creators, including the ninth chaos. In any case, these pawns couldn't threaten the ultimate origin world at all. Hanju could destroy them at any time. The ultimate origin world's foundation didn't attract their fear? Hanju thought in confusion. His ultimate origin world was extraordinary. On second thought, they should have noticed. They wouldn't have sent so many pawns otherwise. If it really doesn't work, everyone behind me can curse. I'll pretend to be cursed too. In that case, they won't have the time to care about me. Hanju's eyes lit up. Only with common and stronger enemies could this unstable alliance be united. Hanju first sent a dream to the immeasurable destruction venerable, and said that he was cursed by the dark forbidden lord. At the same time, he made some cracks appear in the ultimate origin world like what happened in the chaos. The immeasurable destruction venerable comforted him, and asked him to calm down. Hanju came to the main Tao field after ending the dream. He took out the Book of Misfortune and started cursing the immeasurable destruction. This fellow was too weak. Venerable. Hanju only used 10 quadrillion years of his lifespan to damage his Tao heart. He cursed the chaotic consciousness next, causing its Tao heart to be damaged. Then he put the Book of Misfortune away. Thousands of years later, the immeasurable destruction Venerable gathered them again. It was still that mysterious space. He said in a low voice, "The dark forbidden lord attacked us. Who wasn't cursed?" The chaotic consciousness said, "I was cursed." The formless transcendent deity added, "Me too." "Oh my God, you really know how to act." "I didn't curse you." Hanju ridiculed him in his heart. His expression was very ugly, and he didn't say a word. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1069 Power of 10 Million Emperor Soldiers. Chapter 1069 Power of 10 Million Emperor Soldiers. Fellow Taoist Han. What about you? The chaotic consciousness looked at Hanju and asked. The formless transcendent deity also looked at him. The immeasurable destruction Venerable said before he could speak. He was also cursed. He looked for me before I was cursed. At that time, I even asked him to calm down. I didn't expect us to be cursed too. The dark forbidden lord is too arrogant. Does he want to challenge all the Tao creators? Hanju didn't look at the formless transcendent deity, but even without using his gaze, a Tao creator could observe everyone's reaction. This fellow was really stable. It was as if he was really cursed. However, he wasn't cursed now. Instead, he was a suspect. The formless transcendent deity asked, "Where's the yin-yang purity nirvana deity? Should we ask him?" The chaotic consciousness said, "Will he admit it even if it's really him? There's only one outcome in looking for him. He's not the dark forbidden lord. He was cursed." What if he answers that he was not cursed? Then can you guarantee that he's not the dark forbidden lord? He deliberately confessed that he was not cursed, causing us to be even more suspicious. Indeed not. The most troublesome thing about the dark forbidden lord is not the curse, but the fact that there are no traces of him. The 4 Tao creators fell silent. Hanju said coldly, "This fellow has cursed me and the heavenly Tao sages since I was in the heavenly Tao. Could he be related to the heavenly Tao? He would appear anxious if he suspected the other Tao creators. It would seem true to target the heavenly Tao he protected. There's no such existence in the heavenly Tao. Pangu and the Tao ancestor are not Tao creators. They're just struggling at death's door." The chaotic consciousness replied. He looked at Hanju and asked, "Have you communicated with the dark forbidden lord?" Hanju shook his head and asked in surprise, "You have?" The chaotic consciousness said, "That's right. The dark forbidden lord said that he wants to overthrow the order established by the 9th chaos." Hanju frowned and cursed in his heart. They were all too sinister. They actually added more stories themselves. The formless transcendent deity said, "I've also communicated with him. He said that he wants to surpass the Tao creator realm and obtain the power of our great Tao world. He'll continue cursing me if I don't submit to him." The immeasurable destruction Venerable snorted. "He didn't communicate with me. Clearly he wants to split us. Since he doesn't dare to appear, it means that he's afraid of us. At least, he's not confident in resisting our combined forces." Hanju nodded. The 3 Tao creators continued to discuss. As a junior, Hanju listened most of the time. They left several hours later. They still did not understand after discussing it for a long time. In the end, they trusted each other and exchanged more information. Hanju sighed after returning to the 3rd Tao field. Not only was a Tao creator's cultivation impressive, but they were also impressive actors. He would have believed them if not for the fact that he was really the dark forbidden lord. These people all had ulterior motives. Although they were cursed by the dark forbidden lord, they still wanted to use the situation to their advantage. No matter what, it was fine as long as they were in chaos and couldn't care about him. Hanju wouldn't really look for the dark forbidden lord. He wanted to cultivate in peace. Shani hesitated as he looked at him. Hanju directly sent him a dream and communicated in it. What Shani wanted to say was indeed related to curses. He was still very smart and knew to be wary of the 9 divine stars. They would have to go out sooner or later. As long as they went out, He might expose his curse power. Progenitor, I felt a very powerful curse earlier. It's very likely the Dark Forbidden Lord, Shani said in a low voice. Hanju was surprised. He didn't expect this fellow to really be able to walk on the path of curses. Hanju said, "What did you see?" Shani shook his head. "I didn't see it clearly. I could only see a book." This was a scene that only the curse could see. Hanju said, "I was cursed by the Dark Forbidden Lord previously. Not only me but also other transcendent existences. That's why I left. The Dark Forbidden Lord is busy now. Be careful not to bump into him." Shani nodded. "I know. I'm indeed far from being his match. That curse power is too terrifying. I've never seen such a powerful force even if... Progenitor, who are those transcendent existences you mentioned?" He wanted to say that even he might not be that strong, but he felt that it was inappropriate, thus he changed the topic. Hanju said, "You can't say the names of existences like me. You will bear great karma if you do. You can't withstand it." Shani did not understand, but he felt that it was impressive. He subconsciously shook his head and did not dare to ask any more. Shani continued cultivating after the dream ended. The 9 divine stars were still cultivating and did not notice their situation. Hanju was also prepared to continue cultivating, but he suddenly felt a powerful aura. The 9 divine stars opened their eyes and looked in the same direction, the border of chaos and the transcendent world. Zhao Shuangquan fought Han Yi. The current Zhao Shuangquan made a huge commotion with the support of a mysterious faction. He gained dozens of domains in just 10 million years. In terms of faction, he was already the number 1 in the chaos. In order to consolidate his power, he was determined to march into the transcendent world and show off the might of the chaos. Hanju saw that the 9-headed divine spirit was also working for Zhao Shuangquan. Wow, this was the support of the Lord of Chaos. It wouldn't make sense for Zhao Shuangquan not to unite the chaos with the 9th chaos secret support. Han Yi was younger than Zhao Shuangquan, but his strength kept increasing with his crazy slaughter. He was actually not at a disadvantage in a one-on-one battle with the other party. The 9 divine stars were already great Dao sages and could easily spy on this battle. They watched with relish and even disgust. Shani introduced Han Yi to them. He was their ancestor. They were surprised and hoped that Han Yi could win. Han Yi was extremely powerful as he held the world-piercing divine origin bow. The arrows shot out like stars and tore the chaotic void into countless cracks. Zhao Shuangquan held 2 divine weapons formed by the supreme rules in his hands. They were also powerful. His insufferably arrogant aura made all living beings think of Han Huang from a long time ago. Han Huang had the same attitude when he defeated all the living beings in the chaos. Hanju lost interest after watching for a while. Han Huang was still around even if Han Yi lost. Dozens of years later, Han Yi was defeated. While the 9 divine stars felt that it was a pity, another expert appeared in the Creation Emperor court, making them exclaim, and also making Hanju open his eyes. It was not Han Huang. The emperor of the Creation Emperor court had made a move. Han Ling drowned Zhao Shuangquan with 10 million emperor soldiers, shocking the various Great Dao worlds. Although 10 million perfected Great Dao Supreme Emperor soldiers were not adaptable, they crushed Zhao Shuangquan with absolute numbers. Zhao Shuangquan's supreme rules were quickly shattered. Seeing that the situation was not right, the 9-headed divine spirit immediately entered the battle and saved Zhao Shuangquan. However, they were not Han Ling's match even after joining forces. The mighty figures of the 9 extremes were shocked, but they were not stunned. They joined the battle. Han Ling's aura was like a rainbow. She controlled 10 million emperor soldiers to sweep through the 9 extremes orthodoxy, and there was no help from the Creation Emperor court. She fought the famous 9 extremes orthodoxy alone. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1070 Ultimate Evil Chaotic Devil. Chapter 1070 Ultimate Evil Chaotic Devil. They weren't the Emperor's match, even if the 9 extremes orthodoxy attacked together. All living beings saw a new invincible person when the 9 extremes orthodoxy fled under Zhao Shuangquan's lead. Creation Emperor Court Emperor. Only then did all living beings come to a realization. Why would Han Huang join the Creation Emperor court? It turned out they also had existences comparable to him, or even stronger. 10 million Emperor soldiers were too powerful and spectacular, leaving an indelible impression on all the spectators. In the third Tao field, the 9 divine stars and Shani walked out of the Taoist temple and discussed outside, afraid of disturbing Han Ju. That's ancestor Han Ling? How powerful. My Han family is really strong. We can't be a burden. Han Huang, Han Ling, Han Yi, Han Tua, Han Yao and Han Bahen. TSK. These are all existences whose names shake the chaos. I wonder when we can make our own name. Cultivate well. The progenitor still thinks highly of you. Otherwise, he wouldn't have specially brought you to his side to cultivate. When did ancestor Han Huang go out? How many Han family disciples are there in the Creation Emperor court? His descendants discussed animatedly. Even the disciples of the third Tao field surrounded him and spoke excitedly. Although the disciples of the third Tao field did not go out, in the long years, they grew to like to observe the chaos. What they saw and heard far exceeded the 9 divine stars, so they listened to their words very seriously. The 9 extremes orthodoxy did not become dispirited after they lost to the Creation Emperor court. Instead, they began a new expansion strategy and countermeasures, with the Creation Emperor court as their target. Han Ju was immersed in cultivation and didn't care about this. The battle between Zhao Shuangquan and Han Ling was a battle between juniors. He wouldn't care as long as the 9th chaos did not interfere. Han Ju was already at the late-stage Tao creator realm. Perhaps he couldn't insta-kill the 9th chaos, but he wouldn't be afraid of the other party if they really fought. He was just afraid of trouble. At the edge of the chaos, Li Daokong stepped on a long sword and swept through the void. A huge darkness ahead kept squirming. It was ghastly and terrifying. Upon a careful look, the darkness was actually formed by countless evil devils. These evil devils were completely black and had different figures. Other than black, the only thing they had in common was green eyes. It's already so serious. Li Daokong frowned as he muttered to himself. His eyes narrowed as countless sword chi shot out from his eyes. They were like a torrent of time that drowned the endless evil devils, wanting to kill them all. The evil devils vanished after the sword chi dissipated. Li Daokong wanted to turn around and leave. At this moment, he suddenly saw countless evil devils appear in the depths of the void. The space in all directions cracked and huge evil devils crawled out. In an instant, Li Daokong was surrounded. Looking up, evil figures appeared in all directions, even above and below him, causing the void to become a scene of purgatory. Li Daokong frowned. Countless green gazes landed on him, but he did not panic. This is only a corner of the chaos. If all the evil devils in the chaos add up, it will definitely become a calamity. Li Daokong thought silently. At this moment, the evil devils from all directions roared and attacked at the same time. Their speed was extremely fast, like countless black beams of light. A huge battle instantly erupted. This was only a reflection of the situation in the chaos. When the forces in the center were fighting with the other great Tao worlds, the forces at the edge were attacked by the evil devils. These evil devils were different from the evil devils they knew. The power of the great Tao could not hurt them, so they could only use dharmic powers. Furthermore, the evil devil's cultivation was very strong. Ordinary living beings were not their match at all. Millions of years later, the number of chaotic evil devils did not decrease, but increased instead. Furthermore, they erupted with unstoppable momentum and endangered the entire chaos. It was not only the chaos. Evil devils also appeared in Shirtion, transcendent and consciousnessless. The number had already reached an uncontrollable level, causing the various factions to have no choice but to stop fighting. The 9th chaos has developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points. 5 stars. Han Ju, who was cultivating, was shocked when he saw this notification. He hurriedly asked in his mind, "The 9th chaos is certain that I'm the Dark Forbidden Lord? 100 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue?" "Continue. It's just suspicion." Then, does he suspect all the Tao creators? Yes, the two questions were similar, so his lifespan was not deducted again. Hanju hesitated for a moment before continuing. Can I curse the ninth chaos to death if I use all my strength? 5 stars of hatred was too high. Hanju also surged with killing intent. 100 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. No. But the ninth chaos will lose his will. His power will cause chaos everywhere. Seeing this, Hanju had no choice but to give up on using the Book of Misfortune. Losing his will was actually equivalent to death to a Tao creator. But the ninth chaos power would wreak havoc. This couldn't be ignored. Once that happened, other than his Tao field, all existences would be destroyed, including his ultimate origin world. He couldn't take the ultimate origin world into the Tao field. Hanju's cultivation would stop growing once his great Tao world was destroyed. Therefore, be it for public or private reasons, he couldn't do that. Forget it. So be it if he couldn't control it. He continued cultivating. Hanju retracted his thoughts. He ended his seclusion after 10 million years, 190 million years old, accumulating 5 creation heavens chosen. Hanju opened his eyes and smiled. His cultivation level could still improve after reaching the late-stage Tao creator realm. Although he was far from perfection, this feeling of becoming stronger was very fulfilling. Progenitor, you're awake. Something big has happened in the chaos, Shani said with a nervous expression, causing the 9 divine stars to open their eyes. Yes. There are too many evil devils. We can't kill them all. An existence comparable to ancestor Han Huang was even born. The chaos is already in chaos. What does that have to do with us? Didn't demons attack the Tao field previously? They can't barge in at all. They can't break in now. But what about in the future? We can't just sit and wait for death. Hanju looked at the chaos after hearing what they said. He saw an extremely powerful evil devil that was stronger than ordinary perfected great Tao supremes. In terms of aura, it was indeed not inferior to Han Huang. Ultimate evil chaotic devil, the only one among the evil devils who had intelligence could command all the evil devils. Hanju felt a trace of the power of a Tao creator from him. The ninth chaos mental demon. Could it be that the ninth chaos was really about to lose control? Hanju said, Alright, cultivate well. What happens outside the Tao field has nothing to do with you. His descendants immediately quietened down. Their uneasiness immediately dissipated upon seeing Hanju's calm expression. Hanju continued to observe the chaos, and discovered that many worlds have been slaughtered by the evil devils. These evil devils like to eat living beings raw, and then refine their souls to strengthen themselves. It could be said to be extremely sinister. If they died in the hands of the evil devils, they wouldn't even have a chance to reincarnate. He's here too. Hanju raised his eyebrows and joy flashed across his eyes. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Calm. Chapter 1071 Tao Creator's Calamity. Chapter 1071 Tao Creator's Calamity. Hanju saw endless evil devils, following behind the ultimate evil chaotic devil. Among them was a familiar figure. Strange deity. This strange fellow from the evils had been growing over the years. Previously, he had even fought with Han Huang. It looked like he was doing well now that he was mixed in with the evil devils. He could use the strange deity to monitor the ultimate evil chaotic devil. Hanju and the strange deity's soul had long fused into one. The stronger he was, the stronger the strange deity was. On the contrary, it was impossible for the strange deity to surpass him. This was also the reason why he dared to let the strange deity go. With him around, nothing would happen to the strange deity. Hanju immediately sent a dream to the strange deity. The dream was a Taoist temple. The strange deity was stunned and he saw him. He hurriedly came over and nodded without his usual sinister aura. Hanju said, Why are you hanging out with the evil devils? The strange deity was originally invisible to any existence. It was like an inauspicious evil that couldn't be spied on, but it had attack power. Hanju was not used to it now that the strange deity had revealed its body. He was not as cute as before. I want to eat them. I feel that they are very strong. The strange deity chuckled. Hanju reminded, Be careful. The existence behind them is not simple. The strange deity came up to massage Hanju's shoulders and smiled fawningly. Then if something happens, You have to help me, master. I can't help you. That's fine. At most I'll die. In any case, you can revive me. Furthermore, it can be considered a contribution to the chaos if I succeed. The strange deity smiled shamelessly. He was indeed not as cute as before. What had this fellow absorbed? Why was he so glib? The strange deity continued to flatter Hanju and fawn on him. Ever since he came out, this was the first time Hanju visited him in his dreams. This made him very excited. After a long while, Hanju instructed him and ended the dream after the strange deity finished speaking. He even dares to devour the 9th chaos mental demon. This fellow is really bold. Hanju was suddenly interested in the inauspicious evil. What rules did the invisible ghosts wandering in the chaos evolve from? And where did the strange deities that fed on the inauspicious evil come from? As a Tao creator, Hanju couldn't completely understand it. Perhaps it was related to the 9th chaos transcendent rule. It was even to the extent that the inauspicious evil actually had the same goal as the current evil devils who ran rampant in the chaos. However, the inauspicious evil used the souls of living beings as the evolution process, and the evil devils were directly born. Hanju looked at the blank domain next. The purity great Tao world of the yin-yang purity nirvana deity was getting closer and closer to the chaos. This Tao creator was very strong, and so was his great Tao world. Their arrival would definitely change the situation in the chaos. Hanju started to check his emails. He was mainly paying attention to Su Qi. Your disciple Su Qi was attacked by a transcendent cultivator, X1920098. Your disciple Su Qi spread bad luck, causing a lineage to collapse. Your son Han Huang encountered your good friend Huang Zuantian in a dream. His soul was damaged. Your enemy, the 9th chaos, expelled his mental demon and created a clone. His providence has decreased greatly. Your disciple Su Qi spread bad luck, causing the 3,000 great Tao in the transcendent world to be damaged. Your good friend Huang Zuantian has been deprived of the great Tao providence divine authority. His soul has been damaged. Your good friend chaotic consciousness was attacked by a transcendent existence. Your good friend strange deity devoured the chaotic evil devils, and his cultivation level increased. Su Qi's bad luck was as impressive as ever. His cultivation level had been increasing after so many years. He was already a great Tao Supreme. It was not difficult to understand why he could shake the 3,000 great Tao. However, the 9th chaos had actually created a clone of his mental demon. This was a way. Some Tao creators even fought. It was unknown who was bullying the chaotic consciousness. Hanju concluded after reading the emails. Although there were endless storms and changes, his cultivation was not affected. He was about to close his eyes and cultivate when he suddenly felt something and disappeared from the Tao field. He came to the mysterious space where the Tao creators met. The chaotic consciousness, the formless transcendent deity, and the immeasurable destruction venerable were all here. Could it be that the one who attacked the chaotic consciousness was the mysterious yin-yang purity nirvana deity? Something bad has happened. He was indeed cursed by the dark forbidden lord to develop mental demons. He expelled the mental demons. Now the mental demons are being nurtured. This will be a disaster, the chaotic consciousness said in a low voice. The formless transcendent deity asked in surprise. What about him? Why didn't he restrain him? The chaotic consciousness said, this time consumed too much. He will fall into a deep sleep. That mental demon is also being nurtured. He entrusted us with it. During his sleep, if the mental demon awakens, we have to stop him. It the immeasurable destruction venerable said in a low voice. How's the mental demon's strength? To be able to make him fall asleep, I'm afraid. So we have to work together. Hanju didn't speak, and just listened quietly. Can I insta-kill the 9th chaos mental demon? 50 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Almost half of his main body's value. Continue. No, Hanju's heart sank. Then can the mental demon kill me? No, that was good. Hanju relaxed again. With this value, even all these Tao creators combined were not the 9th chaos mental demon's match. I keep feeling that something is wrong, the formless transcendent deity suddenly said. The chaotic consciousness, and the immeasurable destruction venerable were silent. Hanju also felt that something was wrong. How powerful was the ninth chaos? How could it be forced to such a state by a mental demon? Could it be? The chaotic consciousness said faintly, he has his own righteousness. The rules he set for himself helped us, but they also made him fall into a dilemma now. Only this method can resolve his problem. Hanju understood what he meant. Although the ninth chaos was invincible, it liked to be reasonable and never bullied the juniors. This was also the reason why they could rise. From this, it could be seen that the ninth chaos had righteousness and principles. Now that the ninth chaos was threatened by the dark forbidden lord, he felt uneasy. He wanted to eliminate the trouble, but he did not know who the other party was. If it was anyone else in his position, they would definitely rather kill everyone by mistake than let them go. The ninth chaos did not want this to happen, so he created a clone and let it resolve the matter. There's no other way. We can only prepare to deal with it. This might be our calamity. We have to tell the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity about this. We have to be united. The immeasurable destruction venerable said coldly. Since they could not escape, why guess? They had to face it. Then where is the mental demon? Hanju suddenly asked. The chaotic consciousness said. It's the ultimate evil chaotic devil that wreaks havoc in the chaos. The ultimate evil chaotic devil is only a shell. The true mental demon is still being nurtured. What will happen if we kill him directly? When the mental demon is shattered, his power will impact the chaos and everything. It's equivalent to us facing a full-powered attack from his main body. The chaotic consciousness's words were filled with helplessness. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1072 Eighth Chaos Awakening. Chapter 1072 Eighth Chaos Awakening. In that case, we can't touch this mental demon? Hanju frowned and asked. The chaotic consciousness said. It's just that we can't touch him before he awakens. When he awakens and lures him into the blank domain, we'll join forces to suppress him. Before that, what we have to do is to use the power of all living beings to restrict the mental demon. We'll prepare a method to suppress or seal him. It's impossible to kill him. The formless transcendent deity and the immeasurable destruction venerable nodded in agreement. Hanju had no objections. The four Tao creators agreed immediately. They left after the discussion ended. Hanju thought of primordial origin and Huang Zuantian again, after returning to the Taoist temple of the third Tao field. He didn't know for how long primordial origin would hide. Perhaps because he had failed to break through to the primordial fiend celestial. It had given this fellow too much psychological pressure. He didn't dare to move without complete preparation. Wow! The ultimate evil chaotic devil, primordial origin, and the various Tao creators. This great Tao immeasurable calamity was really exciting. It was far more complicated than the previous calamities. Hanju looked at the 9 divine stars. He didn't know if these little fellows could grow up before the great Tao immeasurable calamity ended. Perhaps their time to shine belonged to the next era. Thinking of this, Hanju closed his eyes and continued cultivating. The ninth chaos already had the intention to kill the other Tao creators. What he wanted to do was to break through as soon as possible. The ninth chaos should only be at the perfected Tao creator realm. As long as Hanju reached this realm, it should be very easy to control the ninth chaos. He couldn't expect stronger existences to pity him. He had to become the strongest and pity others. This was Hanju's cultivation philosophy. It was deeply rooted. Transcendent Great Tao World, Creation Emperor Court, Heavenly Hall. Han Ling sat on the emperor's throne. Tens of thousands of leaders of the court gathered in the hall. The closer they were to Han Ling, the stronger their cultivation. Han Yi, Han Yao, and Han Bahan stood at the front. They were already great Tao supremes, and had proved themselves in tens of millions of years of battle. A sage-like old man in a Taoist robe cupped his hands and said, Your Majesty, the ultimate evil chaotic devil that appeared in the chaos can control all the evil devils, including those who transcend the great Tao world. Perhaps the ultimate evil chaotic devil can't threaten us yet, but they have already fused with the chaos. Their claws will reach the creation emperor court sooner or later. Han Yi smiled. Then what should we do? Help the chaos eliminate the devils? We can't even eliminate the transcendent evil devils. His words were echoed by the divine generals. The Creation Emperor court was divided into two factions, civil and military. The civil faction was in charge of plotting and managing the court's subordinate forces. The military faction was in charge of fighting. It was very similar to the structure of a mortal empire. The hall fell into an argument about the ultimate evil chaotic devil. The chaos stirred up waves of devil suppression operations, but as the overlord factions returned in failure, the ferocious reputation of the ultimate evil chaotic devil began to spread. Why didn't Zhao Shuangquan of the Nine Extremes Orthodoxy find trouble with the ultimate evil chaotic devil? Han Ling suddenly asked. Her words attracted the attention of all the Emperor Immortals in the hall. They were enlightened. Yes, why didn't Zhao Shuangquan do anything to the evil devils? Zhao Shuangquan was said to want to unify the chaos. Why didn't he make a move since the chaos was in trouble? Zhao Shuangquan had been famous for a long time and was arrogant. He was not inferior to Han Huang and was naturally not afraid of battle. Could it be? Han Yao asked. Is this a conspiracy of the chaos? Han Bahan said in a low voice, very likely. Otherwise, why would the ultimate evil chaotic devil appear in the chaos and not other great Tao worlds? This is the most difficult path for his development, at least on the surface. The literature immortals also changed sides and felt that it was not suitable to reinforce the chaos. Han Ling said, let's not care about the matter of the ultimate evil and chaotic devils for the time being. The waters of the chaos are very deep. Just these evil devils are not enough to overturn the chaos. The Creation Emperor Court's goal is still to consolidate its existing domain. The creation array has to be set up as soon as possible. It concerns the advancement and retreat of the Creation Emperor Court in the great Tao immeasurable calamity. Tens of thousands of Emperor Immortals agreed. Han Ling's words were absolute in the Creation Emperor Court. No one underestimated her because she was a woman. Every Emperor Immortal had fought Han Ling before. The difference in strength was too great. Just like that, the Creation Emperor Court gave up helping the chaos. It wasn't only the Creation Emperor Court. The other major factions of the Great Tao world were the same. The situation in the chaos had become strange. In the depths of the chaos, in the Nine Extremes Orthodoxy, countless Tao fields that emitted light were like stars gathering in the sky, decorating this void. Living beings of all races came and went, prosperous and vast. In a palace, Zhao Shuangquan sat in midair. 3 beams of light circled around him. They were the great Tao Providence divine authority, symbolizing the power of the supreme rules. The 9-headed divine spirit looked up at him. TSK, where did he come from? He actually grasped the supreme rules so easily, as if they were born for him. The 9-headed divine spirit had mixed emotions. He had always treated himself as the 9th chaos son, but now he began to suspect his status as he compared himself to Zhao Shuangquan. However, he had no choice. He had failed before. Now, he could only follow the 9th chaos instructions to help Zhao Shuangquan. It had to be said that Zhao Shuangquan's potential was indeed great. Other than the power of Father in his body, there was another powerful force. The 9-headed divine spirit suddenly thought of Yu Yuan. Yu Yuan and Zhao Shuangquan were too similar. They were both taken care of by his father. The difference was that Yu Yuan was born too late. When Yu Yuan grew up and joined forces with Zhao Shuangquan, he would definitely be able to dominate the great Tao immeasurable calamity. The 9-headed divine spirit began to look forward to that day. The current him had already lost control of the chaos. He hated the other great Tao worlds and great Tao divine spirits. Zhao Shuangquan's voice sounded. I still need more great Tao Providence divine authority. Help me find it. The 9-headed divine spirit's face twitched. All right. With that, he turned around and left. Zhao Shuangquan opened his eyes and watched him disappear. 9th brother, is this the chaos? You did well. The rest is up to me. Zhao Shuangquan muttered to himself, his tone filled with absolute confidence. More than 8 million years later, Han Ju was still in seclusion when he was suddenly awakened by a loud sound. Boom! This loud sound was loud and piercing, shaking the soul. The 9 divine stars and Shani were also shocked and couldn't help but look around. Which direction is it? Someone is fighting in the chaos again? Look, it's Zhao Shuangquan, and the ultimate evil chaotic devil. He finally made a move. I thought he was afraid. He wants to unite the chaos, so he naturally has to carry the banner of protecting it. Han Ju's gaze locked in a direction. Zhao Shuangquan was fighting the ultimate evil chaotic devil. He was secretly surprised. Zhao Shuangquan had the power of 2 Dao creators and 4 great Dao Providence divine authority powers. Most importantly, why did he want to fight the ultimate evil chaotic devil? Han Ju clearly saw that Zhao Shuangquan's soul had become different. This fellow might have already awakened the 8th chaos memories. Interesting. Could Zhao Shuangquan kill the ultimate evil chaotic devil? Could it be that Zhao Shuangquan wanted to compete with the ultimate evil chaotic devil to go berserk? However, he would also be affected and would not be able to escape the aftermath of the ultimate evil chaotic devil's destruction. Curious, Han Ju fell into deep thought. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1073 Legend of the Nine Chaos. Chapter 1073 Legend of the Nine Chaos. Zhao Shuangquan was even stronger than when he fought Han Ling. His aura was almost invincible, far exceeding a great Dao Supreme. Half-step Dao Creator. Han Ju thought of a powerful enemy from before who thought that he had reached the level of a Dao Creator, which was Zhao Shuangquan's current level. The ultimate evil chaotic devil was also very strong. He summoned an endless stream of evil devils to besiege the 9 extremes orthodoxy, while he fought Zhao Shuangquan alone. Han Ju saw the strange deity. He mixed among the evil devils and stabbed them in the back. While the evil devils were fighting, he devoured one from time to time. The chaotic war was too vast. All sorts of mystical powers destroyed the world. No one discovered the strange deity's actions. This fellow, how sinister! Han Ju felt disdain and suddenly regretted it. Perhaps he shouldn't have let him out all those years ago. He had to throw him into the ultimate origin heavenly prison when he returned to prevent from being stabbed in the back in the future. Soon, Han Ju discovered that Zhao Shuangquan really wanted to kill the ultimate evil chaotic devil. Why did he still want to kill the ultimate evil chaotic devil after awakening the 8th chaos memories? Han Ju suddenly realized something. The ultimate evil chaotic devil's appearance might not be to deal with the Dao creators, but to help the 8th chaos. With Zhao Shuangquan's potential, it would really take too long for him to grow into a Dao creator. The endless era might have already passed by then. It was not easy even if the primordial spirit wanted to become a Dao creator. Before the 9th chaos created the chaos, the strongest cultivation of the first 8 chaos had never reached the Dao creator realm. Therefore, the 9th chaos gave ordinary cultivation to the mental demon. It looked helpless and even dealt with other Dao creators. But it was actually to nurture Zhao Shuangquan? Is what I'm thinking true? 50 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. Yes, as expected. Han Ju looked at Zhao Shuangquan coldly. This fellow was a junior of the heavenly Dao, and he had a favorable impression of him previously. However, it would not be good if the 8th chaos became a Dao creator. Previously, he had calculated that after 9 chaos revived, they would attack the other Dao creators. They believed that they were the ones who ruled everything, and did not allow other existences to be on the same level as them. Unfortunately, the 9th chaos didn't know that Han Ju was about to catch up to him. In terms of value, 9th chaos cultivation level had fallen greatly, and he had temporarily lost hope of becoming a creator lord. Han Ju didn't have to do anything. He just had to seize the opportunity and break through. Then he closed his eyes and resumed his seclusion cycle. Shani hurriedly left the Taoist temple with the 9 divine stars upon seeing that he continued cultivating. They discussed with the disciples of the Dao field outside excitedly. They were just short of eating melon seeds. This battle continued one after another. Zhao Shuangquan and the ultimate evil chaotic devil would erupt every time they were at a disadvantage. Han Ju would definitely feel tired if he was watching the battle. However, the 9 divine stars were watching with relish, causing their mood to fluctuate. The battle ended 1,000,000 years later. The ultimate evil chaotic devil fled, and all the evil devils on the battlefield were killed. Time passed. On the other side, inside the Taoist temple, detected that you are 200 million years old, and your life has taken another step forward. You have the following choices. 1. Exit seclusion immediately and kill all the other Tao creators. You can obtain a great Tao fragment, a primordial fragment, a creation spirit stone, and an ultimate origin spirit stone. 2. Cultivate in a low-profile manner and maintain your original intention. You can obtain a great Tao fragment, a primordial fragment, a creation spirit stone, an ultimate origin spirit stone, and a chance to upgrade the system function. Hanju's eyes lit up. A chance to upgrade the Tao field. Something good finally came out after he waited for 100 million years. Hanju almost forgot that the Tao field could be upgraded. It seemed that his recent cultivation had been fruitful. He immediately chose the second option, and a new notification appeared in front of him. You chose to cultivate in a low-profile manner and maintain your original intention. You obtained a great Tao fragment, a primordial fragment, a creation spirit stone, an ultimate origin spirit stone, and a chance to upgrade the Tao field. The main Tao field has begun to upgrade. The second Tao field has begun to upgrade. The third Tao field has begun to upgrade. Hanju became happy. He looked at his descendants who were cultivating and directly preached the Tao, forcefully pulling them into a state of Tao comprehension. This lecture lasted for 1,000 years. Hanju ended the lecture and stood up to find his Tao companions. After a long while, the 9 divine stars and Shani woke up one after another. They recalled their current Tao comprehension, as if they were dreaming. The progenitor is really powerful. Emozong sighed. To be able to make them directly enter a state of Tao comprehension, such methods were unimaginable. They were all great Tao sages, not mortals. Even if a great Tao sage was not top-notch in the chaos, they would be soon. Shani smiled and said, "You can test his power when the progenitor opens the simulation trial to you in the future." A descendant asked curiously, "What's the simulation trial?" Shani briefly introduced it to them. The 9 divine stars became excited and wished they could immediately open the simulation trial. The 9 divine stars looked at Hanju with burning eyes when he returned. Hanju saw through their thoughts and immediately opened the simulation trial to them. Soon, the 9 divine stars immersed themselves in the simulation trial. Hanju paid attention and discovered that these guys all challenged him first. Courting death. Hanju teased them in his heart. He did not interfere. Instead, he returned to the Lotus throne and started checking his emails. The emails were not much different from the past, but Hanju read them very slowly. He was waiting for the Tao field to be successfully upgraded. The formless transcendent deity sent you a dream. Do you accept? Hanju hesitated for a moment before choosing to accept it. The dream was a blank domain. Hanju's feelings regarding the formless transcendent deity were still very subtle. After all, this was the evil heavenly emperor's backing. Fellow Taoist Han, may I ask if you are confident in dealing with the chaos? The formless transcendent deity went straight to the point. The chaos he was talking about was naturally the 9th chaos. Hanju shook his head. I've just become a Tao creator. How can I compare to him? The formless transcendent deity stared at him and said, I discovered a secret. The legend of the 9 chaos is true. What's the 9 chaos? Hanju asked in surprise. The formless transcendent deity explained. Just like the 9 great chaos that Hanju knew, he didn't even know as much as him. There are 8 brothers in the chaos. If the chaos revives them, they will purge us. The so-called endless era is not prepared for us at all, but for the 8 chaos. The endless era is only for the existence of more chaos. The formless transcendent deity said in a low voice with a solemn tone. Hanju's expression changed drastically as he muttered, If that's the case, fellow Taoist Han, I know that you're very strong and have already surpassed us. I can only tell you this. I don't believe the other Tao creators. I've been watching your growth. Your attitude towards the people around you makes me very relieved. Instead of letting the other existences be the strongest, I'm willing to let you be the strongest. I'll help you as long as you have the strength to match the chaos. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1074 Developing the Realm. Chapter 1074 Developing the Realm. Hanju was surprised. This fellow wanted to seek refuge with him? It was indeed beyond Hanju's expectations. In his opinion, it was impossible for a Tao creator to bow his head, unless he was suppressed by stronger experts, just like what the ninth chaos did to the other Tao creators. Hanju said helplessly, "I've only become a Tao creator not long ago. How can I match him?" He asked in his mind, "Is the formless transcendent deity sincere in seeking refuge with me? 1 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue?" Continue? Yes, this surprised Hanju even more. He was sincere. Could it be because of the evil heavenly emperor? The formless transcendent deity smiled and said, "If you're not a match, you'll immediately leave the dream realm, afraid that you'll be implicated by me. The fact that you're still acting humble shows your greatest confidence." Hanju remained silent. If not for the fact that the formless transcendent deity was sincere, he would definitely attack him. He thought about it carefully. There was indeed nothing immoral about the formless transcendent deity's deeds. He still wanted to sacrifice himself and exchange his life for all transcendent living beings. This kindness was indeed impressive. "What will you do if I promise you?" Hanju narrowed his eyes and asked calmly. The formless transcendent deity replied, "You can do whatever you want when you become the leader. It's impossible to take action immediately. If you agree, it's best to prepare for a period of time. As for the other Tao creators, I suggest you don't try to rope them in. Their ambitions are too great and can't accommodate a second chaos." Hanju asked in his mind, "Will the formless transcendent deity tell the other Tao creators if I agree? 1 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue?" Continue? No, Hanju was relieved. The Tao creators he mentioned included the ninth chaos. It was okay as long as the formless transcendent deity didn't do this. Make your decision. The chaos looks benevolent, but that's only if you don't threaten him. As long as you threaten him, he will definitely attack you. In addition, the matter of his mental demon has already caused him to change. If we aren't prepared, we will be doomed sooner or later. The formless transcendent deity spoke again with a helpless tone. This kid was good at everything, but he was too cautious. He was even a little too cowardly, reaching a level that the formless transcendent deity could not understand. Hanju said, "All right, but you can't tell anyone about this, including the evil heavenly emperor. You understand that as long as others know, they will be deduced by the Tao creators sooner or later." The formless transcendent deity smiled. "Don't worry. I won't let you fight alone. I will nurture a group of cultivators before the final battle comes. I will also help you resist the other Tao creators if you fight with the chaos." Hanju was satisfied. "That's all. Wait for the situation to develop for now." "Are you about to break through? How is that possible?" Hanju shook his head and laughed. Then he removed the dream. "Formless transcendent deity has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, 6 stars. Hanju saw this notification the moment he opened his eyes, making him even more satisfied with him. Not bad, not bad. Very sensible. Subduing the formless transcendent deity was a good thing for Hanju, but not a great thing. He had originally planned to throw the Tao creators into the ultimate origin heavenly prison after becoming a creator lord. He didn't feel this was shameful. If it was any other Tao creator, they would definitely not hold back if they could deal with the other Tao creators. At their cultivation realm, morals were already meaningless. Mortals' morals restricted them. They only compared who was stronger and who was weaker. The ninth chaos didn't dare to deal with him because of the Tao field. Otherwise, the ninth chaos would definitely suppress him and make his ultimate origin world fuse with the chaos like the other great Tao worlds. He could give others a way out, but he couldn't give them a chance to threaten him. At this moment, the 9 divine stars had already woken up from the simulation trial. Their expressions were ugly. They didn't even dare to look at Hanju. Shani was extremely happy to see their expressions. "Who asked you to court death? Do you know how terrifying the progenitor is now?" Hanju didn't care. He was waiting for the Tao field to upgrade, but it still didn't finish even after so much time had passed. That made sense. After all, The protective array formation of the Tao field had already reached the Creator Lord level. Who knew how long it would take to increase it? Hanju asked in his mind. Can the ultimate origin spirit stone upgrade an ultimate supreme treasure? Not for the time being. The ultimate supreme treasure is already the strongest Dharma treasure. Unless you reach the Creator Lord realm and open up a higher realm, you can't upgrade an ultimate supreme treasure. Unknowingly, Hanju had already reached the level of a pioneer. No living being had become a Creator Lord ever since everything was born. Hanju looked forward to that day even more. Then he closed his eyes and continued cultivating. Time passed quickly. The chaos fell into unprecedented chaos. The ultimate evil chaotic devil also became the nightmare of all living beings. The evil devils formed their own race and caused chaos from time to time. Transcendent, consciousnessless, and Shirtion had also completely fused into the chaos. They were no longer great Tao worlds but separate domains. The chaos was already used to the existence of evil devils when Hanju reached 210 million years old. Another chaotic assembly was about to begin. This time, the theme had become suppressing the evil devils. Of course, the core was still the genius competition. Hanju opened his eyes and started to check his emails. Next, he began the simulation trial. He still treated the immeasurable destruction venerable as his opponent. Several days later, Hanju left the simulation trial and felt bored. Why isn't it done yet? Hanju sighed in his heart. He always thought of the Tao field. He stood up and left the Tao field. Transcendent domain heavenly court. Hanju came to a palace. This place was as beautiful as a painting. Immortal floors and immortal cranes were lined up. As expected of the heavenly court, only Han Qing'er was in the palace. She was playing with a small and exquisite silver umbrella. Hanju suddenly appeared in front of her, scaring her so much that she hurriedly jumped away. Father! Han Qing'er was pleasantly surprised to see him. Then she looked reproachful. You only know how to scare me. Han Qing'er snorted. But she was still very happy to see her father. The father and daughter sat down and started to reminisce. Hanju revealed a loving expression. The little girl from back then had already grown up. This feeling was really wonderful. Hanju had always felt that he was not old. It was just that his age increased quickly. Father, that ultimate evil chaotic devil is too strong. My second brother and fourth don't have absolute confidence in defeating it even if they join forces. Will you help if the chaos is in trouble? Sister facing his daughter's question, Hanju smiled and said, What? Your father is in seclusion every day and doesn't have any combat strength. Han Qing'er curled her lips. I think you no longer care about the chaos. Have you also established a great Tao world? Where? She was very excited at the mention of the great Tao world. Her cultivation level had also reached the great Tao supreme realm, and she began to come into contact with the great Tao world. Jiang Juesher had taught her a lot, but she had never been able to do anything. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1075 Ultimate Origin Supreme. Chapter 1075 Ultimate Origin Supreme. Yes, you're right. Hanju smiled, making Han Qing'er feel like she had punched cotton. She really wanted to see her father show his mystical power. In the past 200 million years, Hanju had never made a move, so all living beings had long forgotten about him. Only the cultivators of the older generation knew how terrifying the divine might heavenly sage was. Han Qing'er curled her lips. I really can't figure you out. You're clearly very strong, but you're afraid that others will know. Jiang Juesher, Han Tua, Han Huang and so on. Among everyone she knew, as long as their potential was outstanding, they wanted to fight for fame. Hanju and Han Qing'er chatted for a few more hours before he left. He went to Han Tuo's Taoist temple next. All these years, Han Tua had kept a low profile and cultivated diligently. Seeing Hanju, Han Tua was also very excited and hurriedly bowed. Father and son were not as close as father and daughter. This distance was more like a superior and subordinate. Hanju didn't mind. They chatted for some time. Next, Hanju went to find Han Huang, and Hanling Hanju sighed in his heart after returning to the Taoist temple. Why hadn't it been successfully upgraded yet? The 9 divine stars and Shani were not curious about Hanju's occasional disappearance. After all, they knew that the hidden sect was very big and had countless ancestors. It was normal for the progenitor to occasionally visit his other descendants and disciples. Thousands of years later, the Tao field was successfully upgraded. Please give a name to the realm above the Creator Lord realm. Give it a name. Wow. Hanju thought for a moment before calling it Ultimate Origin Supreme. The main Tao field has been successfully upgraded. The second Tao field has been successfully upgraded. The third Tao field has been successfully upgraded. The Tao field has been upgraded. The array formation has been upgraded to the Ultimate Origin Supreme level. It has expanded the internal space of the Tao field. The space in the various Tao fields is interconnected. Tao field immortal Qi has increased by 10 times. Connate Qi has increased by 10 times. The Tao field can block all prying eyes. Hanju was in a good mood as he looked at the series of notifications in front of him. At the same time, the spirit Qi in the third Tao field began to increase. The disciples were shocked to find that the internal space of the Tao field was expanding again at a very fast speed. They all thought of Hanju. Shani and the 9 divine stars also felt the increase in spirit Qi and looked at him. Seeing that Hanju's eyes were closed and he was calm, they didn't dare to disturb him. They stood up and walked out of the Taoist temple to watch the commotion. The Tao field had been successfully upgraded. Hanju was completely at ease now. He could finally cultivate properly. He entered seclusion. The increase in spirit Qi in the 3 Tao fields lasted for tens of thousands of years. After all, the huge amount of spirit Qi contained in the Tao field had already reached a terrifying level. If it increased by 10 times, it would be even more unimaginable. In the following years, the disciples of the 100-Peak Immortal River, the second Tao field, and the third Tao field discovered that they could actually touch each other. They were extremely lucky. On a tall mountain, Morong Qi, the heavenly constellation Fiend Celestial, the Black Hell Chicken, Han Ming, and the other chaotic Fiend Celestials gathered. I estimate that the space in the Tao field is no longer inferior to the chaos. It's unimaginable. Morong Qi sighed, causing the Fiend Celestials to be shocked. It was as big as the chaos. The Black Hell Chicken shouted, "Could our Tao field be Master's great Tao world?" Tao Comprehension Sword's eyes lit up. It's really possible. Otherwise, even if Master isn't here, those powerful enemies won't be able to barge in. Didn't they say that the great Tao world can be controlled by its master? Therefore, the power of our Tao field is Master's power. The Fiend Celestials felt that it made sense. They suddenly thought of something. How long had this Tao field existed? Hanju already had a Tao field before he attained the Tao. Gasp. Thinking of one possibility, they were even more respectful towards Hanju. While the disciples were marveling at the Tao field, the chaos changed again. The chaotic assembly began, but in the end, the ultimate evil chaotic devil brought endless evil devils to attack the 10 Absolute City. Without Hanju guarding it, the ultimate god of punishment could only lead the great Tao divine spirits to resist the ultimate evil chaotic devil. Fortunately, almost all the mighty figures of the chaos came. The battle was not one-sided. Boom! The endless land shattered crazily. Rolling dust waves rose without restraint. 10 Absolute City was protected by a huge array formation. Strong light flickered. The evil devils couldn't break through the array formation, no matter how many attacked. An extremely majestic figure could be seen 10,000 kilometers outside the city. Great Tao divine patterns floated around him, and countless evil auras formed by negative karma wrapped around his body. Ultimate evil chaotic devil. His figure was sinister as if he was wearing armor, but one couldn't spy on his true body. His face was revealed as a sinister smile. Is that all you can do? What about Zhao Shuangquan? The ultimate evil chaotic devil laughed wildly. Dozens of divine punishers attacked. They all unleashed great Tao mystical powers that tore through the dark sky. Boom! 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 Countless dermic powers landed on the ultimate evil chaotic devil's body, and were absorbed by it, not causing any damage. A sword light suddenly illuminated the sky. Sword Qi swept out, and cut the ultimate evil chaotic devil in half. Countless evil devils along the way were killed. A huge hand suddenly stretched out from behind the ultimate evil chaotic devil and clenched in the air. The sky and space shattered like torrential rain. The ear-piercing sound caused the souls of the living beings in 10 Absolute City to tremble. A sword Dao river descended from the sky and flowed endlessly as Li Daokong appeared, its momentum enough to crush thousands of worlds. The width of the river was immeasurable. "Devil, don't be arrogant," Li Daokong snorted coldly. His long hair fluttered wildly. Countless sword shadows surged out from the sword Dao river and pressed down on the ultimate evil chaotic devil. The ultimate evil chaotic devil was disdainful. At this moment, Zhao Shuangquan, Azure Heaven Mystic, Dao Sovereign, Zhao Xianyuan, the Great Heavenly God King, the Universe Sage King, and other mighty figures who had shocked the chaos appeared around the ultimate evil chaotic devil and instantly cast spells. Formation. The 3,000 Great Dao of the chaos trembled. The power of the 3,000 Great Dao descended and shattered the wall of the sky at the bottom of the chaos, suppressing the ultimate evil chaotic devil at an extremely fast speed. Caught off guard, the ultimate evil chaotic devil knelt on the shattered ground. "Ha ha ha. You still dare to be arrogant? I can't allow anyone to be more arrogant than me in the chaos." Azure Heaven Mystic laughed. A divine spear appeared in his hand. It wrapped around the Great Dao Providence Divine Authority and pierced through the evil chaotic devil's chest. Zhao Shuangquan stepped into the 3,000 Great Dao array formations, wanting to come into contact with the ultimate evil chaotic devil. At this moment, the ultimate evil chaotic devil's strange sneer suddenly exploded and vanished. Immediately after, terrifying auras arrived, startling the experts so much that they turned around. They saw countless evil devils appear in all directions. All of them had majestic figures as they came from the end of the ground. How can this be? This is a clone? No, his aura is still so terrifying. Let me test it. Be careful, something's wrong. The arrival of countless evil devils terrified the people of 10 Absolute City. They saw all the evil devils along the way enter the ultimate evil chaotic devil's body and help it become larger and stronger. Zhao Shuangquan frowned and muttered, "What power is this?" He clutched his chest and felt that the power in his body was about to break out. This feeling was very uncomfortable. The reason for all of this was that ultimate evil chaotic devil. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1076 Chaotic Calamity, Responsibility. Chapter 1076 Chaotic Calamity, Responsibility. The extreme evil chaotic devil laughed as they attacked 10 Absolute City. It was world-shattering and unstoppable. Zhao Shuangquan, Azure Heaven Mystic, Dao Sovereign, and the other mighty figures went to stop him. A figure stood up in 10 Absolute City. His figure was even larger than the entire city. It was the Holy Mother of Order. The Order's sacred light illuminated the murky battlefield. Countless evil devils were reduced to dust, but the ultimate evil chaotic devil and his clone were not affected. The ultimate god of punishment stepped out of 10 Absolute City and looked at the majestic and terrifying demonic shadow in the distance. He sighed and said, "It's really unsettling." A blood-stained and tattered armor was attached to his body. His aura changed, startling the mighty figures. The leader of the divine spirits. The mighty figures were very respectful to the ultimate god of punishment, but they never knew how strong he was. The ultimate god of punishment walked forward. With every step, his figure grew taller and his aura soared. At the same time, another powerful force that froze all forces descended. It landed on the barren land like the descent of the 3,000 Great Dao. The purple pillar of light connected the world and swept away countless evil devils and dust. A divine weapon descended from the sky. Countless gazes landed on him, and the entire 10 Absolute City was excited. Zhao Shuangquan's expression also became subtle. Han Huang, the publicly acknowledged strongest in the chaos. Although Zhao Shuangquan had the right to challenge this title, he was still far inferior to Han Huang in the hearts of all living beings. Han Huang appeared as a primordial fiend celestial in the purple pillar of light. His white hair fluttered, and his purple eyes emitted a terrifying cold light. "Humph," Han Huang snorted coldly, and a spear appeared in his hand. It was the primordial divine spear. It was surrounded by a long dragon condensed from primordial purple chi, and roared continuously. The ultimate evil chaotic devil looked up upon sensing his power. Primordial fiend celestial. Ha ha ha, I want to see if you, who call yourself the primordial fiend celestial, are qualified. The ultimate evil chaotic devil smiled arrogantly, his tone filled with disdain. With that, all the evil devils raised their arms. Boundless negative karma was absorbed, forming a tornado that wreaked havoc in the world. Space was shattered, and even Li Daokong's sword Dao River was scattered. Boom! The 3,000 great Dao trembled, and the entire chaotic space began to collapse. More and more cracks appeared at the edge. Countless evil devils flew out from the cracks, looking sinister and terrifying as they roared. Noisy! Han Huang waved his palm as he advanced. Divine might, great heaven palm. It was invisible and colorless. The billions of evil devils in front of him instantly vanished, including dozens of clones of the ultimate evil chaotic devil. Han Huang appeared in front of the largest evil devil. 2 ultimate origin soul oblivions appeared around his body. As he stabbed with his spear, the great Dao light blade flashed quickly and destroyed all the evil devils in the world. The mighty figures along the way felt danger envelop them, but they couldn't see the speed at which the ultimate origin soul oblivion moved. There's only the 2 of us left. Han Huang stared at the ultimate evil chaotic devil and smiled disdainfully. The ultimate evil chaotic devil did not panic at all. His raised hands suddenly descended, causing endless negative karma to descend from the sky and enter his body. It compressed crazily, causing his body to twist violently, as if it was about to explode. Han Huang skewered the ultimate evil chaotic devil with his spear. It pulled out a shadow, like the soul body of the ultimate evil chaotic devil, was nailed to the primordial divine spear. I'll destroy your future. Han Huang snorted. The primordial divine spear emitted a dazzling purple light, and destroyed the ultimate evil chaotic devil phantom on the spear shaft. Boom! The ultimate evil chaotic devil suddenly exploded, the terrifying impact tearing everything apart. The array formation protecting 10 Absolute City was instantly destroyed, and everything at the bottom of the chaos was swept away. In the third Dao field, Hanju suddenly felt uneasy. He opened his eyes and saw that the 9 divine stars and Shani were not there. Many disciples gathered outside the Taoist temple. Even the Black Hell Chicken and the chaotic heavenly dog were here. They were discussing the battle of 10 Absolute City. Hanju looked at the bottom of the chaos. It had already turned to ashes. Countless souls wandered around. All living beings below the Freedom Realm were dead. Han Huang, Zhao Shuangquan, the ultimate god of punishment, the Holy Mother of Order, Li Daokong, the Universe Sage King, and the other mighty figures were still fighting the ultimate evil chaotic devil. Hanju raised his eyebrows. He discovered that the ultimate evil chaotic devil's aura had changed. He was already infinitely close to becoming a Dao creator. According to his value, he needed at least 900 trillion years of lifespan. This was no longer something that all living beings in the chaos could resist. Han Huang began to borrow the ultimate origin power. Although Hanju didn't stop him, Han Huang was not a Dao creator after all. It was difficult for him to compete with his opponent, even with the ultimate origin power. Aren't the Dao creators going to make a move? Hanju was surprised. These Dao creators were really tolerant. The bottom of the chaos was the closest to the consciousnessless great Dao world. The chaotic consciousness actually did not react. Perhaps he was hoping that the ultimate evil chaotic devil would help his great Dao world become independent again? Hanju hesitated. Should he make a move? At this rate, Han Huang and the others would not be able to withstand it. Many other disciples were also on the battlefield other than his son. Otherwise, he could have used the invocation Dao to send them all back. Hanju didn't want to stand out easily. At this moment, a black vortex appeared in front of him, causing him to grow silent. At the bottom of the chaos, ruins filled the air and overlapped like mountains. The once bustling 10 Absolute City had already been razed to the ground. Mighty figures were recuperating one after another. The battle in the distance was still ongoing. Zhao Shuangquan and Han Huang joined forces and fought to the death. Zhao Xinyuan looked at the black vortex in front of him in nervous anticipation. Dao's sovereign, Jiang Yi, Han Tua, Yi Tian, Han Qing'er, Han Yunjin, Han Yu, and the other hidden sect disciples were also waiting expectantly. We can only wait for Master to appear now. Otherwise we will all die, Dao's sovereign said in a low voice. His aura was weak. Previously, he used the great Dao Providence divine authority, but was still not the ultimate evil chaotic devil's match. He was even defeated very quickly and miserably. Looking around, Han Huang and Zhao Shuangquan were constantly killed and revived. They were not the ultimate evil chaotic devil's match at all. At this rate, they would be killed by him sooner or later. The time they had been killed became shorter and shorter. They were becoming weaker. But the ultimate evil chaotic devil was constantly becoming stronger. Will Father not come? Why don't we escape? Han Qing'er swallowed. Jiang Juesher's expression was ugly. Run. Where to? We're the strongest force in the chaos. What awaits us is also death, even if we manage to escape. We can return to Father's Dao field. What about all living beings? Jiang Juesher asked. We're all geniuses of the 10 absolutes, and are conferred the title of Great Dao Divine Spirit. All living beings believe in us, but should we abandon them in front of such a calamity? Han Tua, Yi Tian, Dao Sovereign, Han Yunjin, and the others had ugly expressions. It was fine if Han Qing'er did as she pleased, but they were all responsible. If they really left like this, their Dao hearts would definitely be damaged. Well said. A laugh sounded, startling everyone so much that they turned around and saw a figure walk out of the black vortex. It was Han Ju. He activated all his supreme treasures. Divine light flickered, causing everyone to be unable to see his expression. However, everyone felt like crying from joy upon seeing him. An unprecedented sense of security enveloped them. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Chapter 1077 Legend appears. Chapter 1077 Legend appears. Han Ju's appearance excited all the nearby hidden sect disciples. The vast killing intent that enveloped the world seemed to have vanished. The divine light on his body turned into the brightest light in everyone's eyes. It represented hope and victory. Han Ju was invincible in the hearts of the personal disciples of the hidden sect. Since ancient times, many seemingly irreversible situations seemed calm in front of Han Ju. They no longer doubted him, and only looked forward to it. Although you said it well, don't repeat it next time. If you have the ability, rely on your strength to shoulder your responsibilities. Han Ju's voice floated over, causing Jiang Juesher and the others to lower their heads in shame. Han Qing'er snorted. That's right. All of you are not strong enough, and are still pretending to be strong. In the end, you still troubled my father. It's better to escape back to the Dao field with me. Facing her mockery, everyone was even more ashamed, and did not even dare to reply. Lao Dan looked at Han Ju and sighed. Back then, he did not expect this person to grow into a transcendent existence that even his main body could not compare to. He would surpass the entire chaos. Han Ju looked into the distance, and locked onto the ultimate evil chaotic devil, fighting Zhao Shuangquan and his son. He was indeed very strong. An even stronger power hidden in his body was also constantly being released to increase his aura. You're here. The ultimate god of punishment appeared beside Han Ju with a low tone. Han Ju didn't look at him, and only said softly, You can rest now. The ultimate god of punishment said, I suspect that this fellow has already surpassed the great Dao Supreme Realm, and reached a higher realm. You have to be careful. Han Ju didn't reply. He did not attack immediately. Instead, he wanted to see Han Huang and Zhao Shuangquan's limits. Han Tua, Han Qing'er, and Han Yunjin hurriedly came over. Father, hurry up and attack. I can't hold on much longer. What are you waiting for? Han Ju was unmoved by his children's urging. More and more mighty figures noticed Han Ju's appearance. His divine light blocked all prying eyes. Seeing how respectful the ultimate god of punishment was, the older generation could guess Han Ju's identity and felt relieved. The new mighty figures were curious. Who was this person? At the same time, in the third Dao field, The progenitor has gone there. Shani was excited, as if he was the one saving the situation. The 9 divine stars were the same. They were extremely excited. All these years, they had often watched the chaos, and they had experienced the simulation trial. So they had always looked forward to seeing who was stronger between the ancestor and the ultimate evil chaotic devil. Xing Hongxian smiled. That fellow is in trouble. Xian Qingjun, Fairy Shi Xian, Qing Waner, and Chang Yuer all smiled and nodded. Hanju never fought battles that he had no chance of winning. As long as he was willing to attack, the battle situation would definitely be overwhelming. Han Huang frantically mobilized the ultimate origin power, but it was directly scattered by the ultimate evil chaotic devil every time he wanted to use his mystical power. Damn it! What mystical power is this? Han Huang was so angry that his eyes turned red. He couldn't see the ultimate evil chaotic devil's moves at all. He felt an extremely terrifying invisible force suddenly hit him every time he stood up. He was not the only one. Zhao Shuangquan was also extremely angry. Damn it, is this 9th brother's power? Zhao Shuangquan was furious. Was this still the power given to him? Why was it so difficult to subdue? He couldn't help but guess. Could it be that his 9th brother had a change of heart? The two of them condensed their bodies again and attacked the ultimate evil chaotic devil. The moment they moved, they were dispersed by an invisible force and destroyed in the alternate space. You worms, do you still want to struggle? The voice of the ultimate evil chaotic devil sounded. You don't know the meaning of the chaos at all. Your existence is only an accident. I will devour you and let you return to your original path. However, since you want to struggle, I'll let you feel unprecedented despair. The ultimate evil chaotic devil's laughter echoed at the bottom of the chaos, causing the cultivators recuperating to be both angry and terrified. 10 absolute city had been flattened. Countless living beings had died, and they were all cultivators. They were equivalent to the backbone of the chaos. After this battle, it was unknown how long it would take for the chaos to recover. Hanju watched for a while and walked over. He ascended to the sky step by step, as if he was stepping on an invisible staircase. All the nearby mighty figures heaved a sigh of relief upon seeing that he had finally made a move. Huanger, leave. Just as Han Huang was about to continue, Hanju's voice stopped him from flying again. He turned around and was stunned. Father! He did not expect his father to come. Because his father had not cared about the chaos for nearly 200 million years. He also understood that his father definitely had his own great Tao world. Zhao Shuangquan also heard Hanju's voice and looked over. He worshipped the divine might heavenly sage the most before recovering his origin memories. Now that he had regained his memories, as the 8th chaos, he was very curious about how strong this junior was. The 9th chaos had instructed him that among the current Tao creators, only Hanju could threaten him. Who are you? The ultimate evil chaotic devil asked in a low voice as he looked at Hanju, filled with killing intent. His red eyes pierced through the rolling mist and landed on Hanju. The world was murky. Hanju and the ultimate evil chaotic devil's gazes collided. All the living beings looked at Hanju. Evil the scene seemed to freeze. Hanju's figure was not tall. Compared to the ultimate chaotic devil, he was even more tiny. Hanju ignored the ultimate evil chaotic devil. He was getting closer and closer. The ultimate evil chaotic devil became anxious and uneasy. He suddenly opened his mouth, and violent negative karma swept through the entire bottom of the chaos like a black hurricane. Hanju still advanced. The violent negative karma couldn't even break through his supreme treasure protective shield. The mighty figures healing were not injured, either. They were all protected by Hanju's ultimate origin power. This surprised them. Who is he? It looks like the Divine Might Heavenly Sage. Divine Might Heavenly Sage. The legendary mighty figure who established the era of geniuses? So powerful. Why haven't I heard of him? Nonsense. You're so powerful. Do all the mortals know you? Hanju seemed to be walking slowly, but he arrived in front of the ultimate evil chaotic devil in just a few steps. The hurricane formed by negative karma exploded. The ultimate evil chaotic devil took a step back in fear when he saw clearly. With his figure, This step brought him billions of kilometers away. Who are you? The ultimate evil chaotic devil seemed to be stimulated and roared crazily. Boom! The mist in the sky was washed away and a black pillar of light descended from the sky, drowning Hanju. Roars of evil devils sounded in the pillar of light. They gathered together and formed an ear-piercing and terrifying commotion. Soon the roar turned into a wail. Red light appeared in the middle of the black pillar of light and destroyed it. A huge ultimate origin heaven seal appeared and grew larger and larger, occupying the sky at the bottom of the chaos. The ultimate evil chaotic devil had no choice but to look up. This move. Han Huang's eyelids twitched as he thought of the previous simulation trial. Zhao Shuangquan was moved. He was shocked as he looked at the endless ultimate origin heaven seal. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1078 Returning to the Dao Field. Chapter 1078 Returning to the Dao Field. The ultimate origin heaven seal covered the entire bottom of the chaos the moment it appeared. It was equivalent to the entire chaos. It was enough to shock all the living beings at the bottom of the chaos. From below, the ultimate origin heaven seal contained countless obscure patterns. The living beings were actually a little stunned as they looked carefully, as if they saw the various forms of all living beings. Countless images entered their eyes. At the same time, reverence rose from the bottom of their hearts. It was like a mortal facing an immortal. The reverence was indescribable. The ultimate evil fiend fell into an unprecedented panic upon facing the vast and spectacular ultimate origin heaven seal. What power is this? The ultimate evil chaotic devil asked with a trembling voice. He already thought that he was invincible, but he felt extremely weak upon facing this power. Hanju's voice sounded. Any existence has its meaning, but you have to pay the price if you want to erase other existences. Ultimate evil chaotic devil, leave the chaos. This place doesn't belong to you. His voice was like thunder, and his divine might was vast. His words were like the constitution of the heavens, deciding the ultimate evil chaotic devil's fate. The ultimate origin heaven seal suddenly shrank and appeared in front of him before the ultimate evil chaotic devil could react. Boom! The ultimate origin heaven seal collided with the ultimate evil chaotic devil and dispersed the evil aura on his body. Countless evil devils rushed out of his body and dissipated into smoke. The ground shook and the sky changed. The ultimate origin heaven seal pressed down on the ultimate evil chaotic devil and rushed to the end of the ground, sweeping through the murky world. No dash, the ultimate evil chaotic devil struggled with all his might, but the ultimate origin heaven seal contained an extremely strong suction force, firmly sealing him. He couldn't move, and even his soul could not escape. The holy and domineering ultimate origin heaven seal swept over with the ultimate evil chaotic devil, leaving a point of light for all living beings. Under the disbelief of all the mighty figures, the ultimate origin heaven seal rushed out of the chaos at an extremely fast speed, pressing the ultimate evil chaotic devil towards the blank domain. Silence. The mighty figures opened their mouths, but couldn't say anything. There was only the sound of the thunderous wind. Hanju turned around and glanced at Han Huang. Then, ignoring the disciples, he stepped into the black vortex. The disciples came back to their senses only after the black vortex disappeared. The stronger the ultimate evil chaotic devil appeared, the greater the despair they felt. Now they were even more shocked. Han Qing'er sighed. My father is really powerful. Why do I feel that the ultimate evil chaotic devil is nothing much? She naturally teased to ease the atmosphere. Zhao Xinyuan sighed. Indeed, it's completely not the same realm. This also means that the difference between master and the chaos has already widened. Dao's sovereign recalled the adventures over the years, and then thought of Hanju. He was suddenly confused. Not long ago, he was stronger than Hanju. Now he was left so far behind. Could it be that seclusion was the correct path? He thinking about it carefully. It had been a long time since he had broken through. Even so, was busy looking for opportunities, and his Dao heart could not calm down. It was indeed a waste of time. Jiang Juesher smiled. Don't think too much. Master's potential has always been unfathomable. That's definitely not something that can be achieved through bitter cultivation. He reminded them upon seeing the hesitation in the hearts of his outstanding fellow disciples. Jiang Juesher knew his limits. He knew that he could compare to anyone, but he definitely couldn't compare to Hanju. Hanju's existence didn't make sense. At the same time, the bottom of the chaos cheered. We won. The chaos won. As expected of the divine might heavenly sage. Why can't I remember his figure clearly? It's said that there are some unknown existences in the chaos. Could the divine might heavenly sage be such an existence? The divine might heavenly sage did not make an appearance since the first chaotic assembly. It seems that he really doesn't care about it anymore. I wonder if that ultimate evil chaotic devil will make a comeback. Hanju sat on the lotus throne and looked at the blank domain after returning to the third Tao field. The chaotic consciousness and the immeasurable destruction Venerable attacked. They joined forces to send the ultimate evil chaotic devil into the mysterious domain. The formless transcendent deity also appeared. The power of the transcendent rules of the three Tao creators interwove into a prison to suppress the ultimate evil chaotic devil. Hanju was completely relieved upon seeing this scene. These Tao creators did not go back on their word. They knew the situation and would be stupid not to use such a good opportunity. Shani and the 9 divine stars entered the temple. They looked at him in admiration. Han Zhongdao suppressed his excitement and asked, "Progenitor, how much strength did you use to deal with the ultimate evil chaotic devil?" Hanju smiled. "Of course I did my best." "Impossible. I think you're very relaxed." Han Fan shook his head, feeling that the progenitor was patronizing them. Long Minggu nodded. "That's right. That ultimate evil chaotic devil can't withstand a single blow from you. Is he dead?" Hanju said, "He's not dead. He's just expelled. He's really strong and can't be killed. His body contains a power that can destroy the chaos. It's precisely because of this that we transcendent existences don't dare to rashly attack. Once we're forced to a corner, that power will erupt and the entire chaos will cease to exist." The 9 divine stars looked at each other, feeling even more reverence for the chaos. They originally thought that they could already see through the chaos, but they did not expect there to be many existences they did not know. Han Xianao said, "Progenitor, tell us your story again? We want to know how you became so powerful." The other descendants nodded desperately and stared at him expectantly. Hanju smiled benevolently. "Then tell me, the last time I talked about the ancient desolate, I started from the conflict between the ancient desolate and the heavenly Tao. As Hanju talked about the past, the tragedy at the bottom of the chaos began to spread. Too many cultivators had died in this battle. It covered the various factions of the chaos, including the other great Tao world domains. The chaos would be in a recovery stage in the long years to come. This battle made the mighty figures of the great Tao world realize that they were not strong enough. They didn't have the right to dominate the chaos. The ultimate evil chaotic devil's existence also traumatized them. After all, he did not die, he had only been expelled. Time passed slowly. Hanju became 220 million years old and obtained another creation heaven's chosen attempt. Peace had returned to the chaos after millions of years. However, Hanju's Tao field became lively. Tao Sovereign, Zhao Xianyuan, Jiang Yi, Han Tua, Han Yenjin, and the other personal disciples and sons arrived. They all wanted to accept Hanju's teachings again, but he was in seclusion. They could only wait in the Tao field. Hanju opened his eyes and didn't go out. Instead, he started to check his emails. Your good friend, the formless transcendent deity, was cursed by a mysterious curse. Your good friend Huang Zuantian suffered backlash from a mysterious mighty figure. His soul was damaged. Your disciple Su Qi spread bad luck, causing a world to collapse and reincarnation to be destroyed. Your son Han Huang was attacked by a chaotic evil devil, X89827763. Your good friend, the ultimate god of punishment, was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure. Your good friend, the Holy Mother of Order, received a dream from a transcendent existence. Your good friend Zhao Shuangquan received a dream from your enemy, the 9th chaos. His cultivation has increased. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1079 Primordial Chaos Ambition. Chapter 1079 Primordial Chaos Ambition. Compared to the past, the frequency of evil devils appearing had greatly decreased. However, the number of transcendent existences had increased greatly. It seemed that the Tao creators had begun to take action. Han Ju thought silently as he read the emails. It was unknown what the ninth chaos was thinking after he repelled the ultimate evil chaotic devil. Be it using the ultimate evil chaotic devil to kill the Tao creator, or using it to fulfill Zhao Shuangquan's wish, it was very difficult to realize his intention now. However, the ninth chaos would definitely come up with another plan. He would know after watching. Han Ju didn't go out, and continued his seclusion after reading the emails. The chaos was in the midst of a revival. Evil devils were still wandering around. The various factions were nurturing new core forces. Ancient primordial world. Huang Zuantian curled up in the endless purple qi. His soul was wrapped by chains formed by purple symbols, and could not move. A blurry figure appeared in front of him. It was Primordial Origin. Primordial Origin looked at him and asked, "The ultimate evil chaotic devil has been expelled from the chaos. Guess who did it?" Han Huang. Huang Zuantian snorted. After being suppressed for so long, he had long passed the stage of anger, and could currently communicate with Primordial Origin again. What else could he do? Primordial Origin said, "Han Huang's father, the divine might heavenly sage. The ultimate evil chaotic devil, who suppressed the entire chaos, was helpless in front of him." Huang Zuantian was silent. Primordial Origin said, "Fortunately, I'm not arrogant. If I go out early, I'm afraid I won't be able to escape death. We should enter seclusion in the ancient primordial world. I'll return your body when we truly surpass the great Tao Supreme Realm." Huang Zuantian smiled. "Are you returning my body or a new one? It's the same. You wouldn't be here today if not for me. You should repay me. But you're too ambitious. You don't just want to become stronger." I naturally have to create the primordial chaos, if I'm the primordial fiend celestial. The prerequisite for creating the primordial chaos is to destroy the chaos, just like how the chaos replaced the primordial chaos. Therefore, on this point, I'm the true primordial fiend celestial, and that Han Huang is only a thief. He doesn't have the primordial fiend celestial's ambitions. Huang Zuantian fell silent again. He knew that he couldn't convince Primordial Origin. This fellow had already lost his mind. However, sometimes thinking about Primordial Origin's words, they were not unreasonable. If the chaos could replace the primordial chaos, why couldn't the primordial chaos counterattack? Perhaps because he was a chaotic life form, he had an innate sense of distance from the primordial chaos. Primordial Origin vanished, leaving behind a sentence. "The divine might heavenly sage will be my greatest enemy when I create the primordial chaos. I will use him as my target to cultivate." Huang Zuantian did not reply, but his heart was filled with disdain. "It's impossible for you to catch up to master no matter how much you cultivate. I have to think of a way. Although I'm suppressed, the nebulous primordial qi here can nourish my soul. Perhaps this is also an opportunity. I have to become stronger." Huang Zuantian thought silently and was excited. In the third Tao field, Tao Sovereign Jiang Yi Zhao Xinyuan, Han Tua Itian, the Black Hell Chicken, Yang Tiandong, Morong Qi, and so on gathered here. Most of the personal disciples of the hidden sect were here. With the agreement of Han Ju's clone, the other three divine punishers under Han Tua also entered the Tao field. They all underwent absolute purification the moment they entered. Lao Dan, who was accompanying Tao Sovereign, did not come. He knew his limits and also wanted to go back and see his main body. The third Tao field had never been so lively. Shani and the 9 divine stars also appeared to receive their seniors. The personal disciples didn't dare to underestimate these 10 juniors cultivating beside Han Ju. To be chosen by him, they were definitely geniuses among geniuses. "Han Tua, why do I feel that their potential is not inferior to ours?" Itian winked and asked with a smile. Han Tua said disapprovingly, "Father had just attained the Tao when he gave birth to me. What cultivation level was he at when he gave birth to Han Yunjin? His potential will naturally only be higher than mine." Most of the descendants of the Han family descended from Han Yunjin. Han Ju had 5 children. Han Tua, Han Huang, Han Qing'er, and Han Ling were all busy cultivating. Only Han Yunjin did not think much of cultivation and helped the Han family expand. This time, Han Yunjin came back to cultivate because he wanted to visit his mother Liao. Han Ju and Liao were both ascetics, but they gave birth to a carefree son like him. It was shocking. The personal disciples reminisced about the past. After a long time, Jiangyi suddenly suggested sparring in the simulation trial. The disciples agreed, so they began to spar in groups. Time passed. Another 10 million years passed. Han Ju's creation heavens chosen accumulated 9 more times, but he had no intention of using them. After 90 million years, all 9 stars had already reached the Great Tao Supreme Realm. With the simulation trial, their combat experience had never fallen behind. Han Ju first checked his emails. His circle of friends became much quieter after the personal disciples returned. His friends had been decreasing over the years. Other than the fact that their lifespan was coming to an end, some people with low cultivation levels had also forgotten about him. Although Han Ju didn't deliberately reach the unspeakable level, the difference in cultivation was too great. Unconsciously, the communication and karma between the two were constantly being erased. Han Ju stood up and walked out of the Taoist temple after reading the emails. The disciples were all cultivating, and it was quiet. Han Ju began to preach the Tao, pulling everyone into a state of Tao comprehension. Even people as strong as Han Tua and Tao Sovereign were only absent-minded for a moment before they were forcefully pulled into a state of Tao comprehension. Han Ju's Tao voice echoed in the Tao field. The disciples of the second Tao field and the main Tao field could hear it. There were more than 100 million disciples in the 100-peak Immortal River. Everyone in the 100-peak Immortal River seemed to have lost their voices and instantly fell silent. The lecture ended 5,000 years later. Han Ju and the women chatted in the Taoist temple to resolve their cultivation problems. They benefited greatly from a few of his words. Xing Hongxian said, "Husband, I've been having a dream recently. It keeps repeating." Han Ju smiled and asked, "What dream?" It was strange that they could still dream at their cultivation level. Xing Hongxian hesitated. "Tell me," Han Ju urged. Qingwaner Xian Qingjun, Fairy Shi Xian, Li Yao, Tao Comprehension Sword, and Chang Yuer looked at her in surprise, curious about the dream. Xing Hongxian said, "I dreamed of another you repeating your life in the mortal world." Han Ju raised his eyebrows and asked, "Be more detailed." "That's right. I saw a youth born in the mortal world. He's also from the Jade Pure sect, and has experienced the same thing as you. He's constantly growing, but I can't see his true appearance. However, his actions are different from yours. Although it's the same experience, he's more arrogant and stronger than you." Xing Hongxian thought hard and tried to recall the details of the dream. Han Ju asked in his mind, who was Xing Hongxian dreaming of? Unable to derive this karma. Perhaps there is no such karma. Perhaps the other party has an ultimate Tao treasure. What the heck? Were there so many ultimate Tao treasures? Han Ju said, "Show us your dream. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com." Chapter 1080 Existence to Resist Divine Might. Chapter 1080 Existence to Resist Divine Might. Xing Hongxian waved her sleeve and cast a spell. A screen of light appeared in front of everyone and began to show her dream. In the dream, a youth rode his sword forward. In front of him was a peerless demon trampling on a ruined city filled with smoke. The wails and screams of countless people resounded through the sky. The youth wore white clothes. He raised his hand and pointed. It was actually the heaven-earth mystic yellow world-piercing sword finger. Sword chi followed the tip of his finger and shot out. From 10,000 miles away, it pierced through the head of the unparalleled demon, causing blood to splatter through the yellow sky. Han Ju had a strange expression. It had to be said that this youth indeed had his taste. Strange, nothing like this is happening in the heavenly Tao. Chang Yuer counted with her fingers. The situation in the heavenly Tao did not match the scene in the dream. There were many Jade Pure sects in the heavenly Tao. Their names were common, but when combined with this battle and that youth, they could not deduce it at all. Fairy Shi Xian stared at the dream and said, Perhaps it isn't happening now. The women continued to watch. The dream kept changing and intercepted the key processes of several battles. These experiences were too similar to Hanju's battles. Of course, they were not completely identical, but they would always think of him. Li Yao asked after Xing Hongshuan's dream showing ended. Could it be a descendant? Qing Wan'er nodded. Probably. Many of my descendants admire you, husband. That was a good idea. Hanju smiled. You'll know in the future. Anyway, I can't deduce it for the time being. It can only be something in the future. If you can dream of it, it might come from Huanger's lineage. Xing Hongshuan's eyes lit up. Huanger will marry and have children. Han Huang had a heart of stone. All these years, there had been no woman around him. He seemed to look down on women. Only Hanju knew that Han Huang felt that he was not from the same race as all living beings, so he didn't marry. It was just like how it was very difficult for a person to marry chickens and dogs. Even if they were all the same after transforming, the pride in Han Huang's bones did not allow him to do that. Perhaps. Who can predict marriage? Hanju smiled and stood up. Then, he left the Taoist temple, leaving the women to discuss curiously. Women were all gossipy. They were all curious about what kind of woman Han Huang would marry. On the other side, Transcendent Domain, Creation Emperor Court. In the dark hall, faint white flames burned at the edge. Thunderclouds appeared in the sky. Han Huang sat in a mysterious pool. Beside him stood the primordial divine spear. Purple dragons wrapped around it, and were nourished by the water. Footsteps sounded and Han Ling, who was wearing a graceful golden dress, walked over. She wore a phoenix crown, and a mysterious jade stone hung on her forehead. It emitted a dazzling light, and covered her peerless appearance. Behind her long dress floated a row of emperor soldier shadows. They were like guards, and were inseparable from her. Han Ling stopped and looked at Han Huang from afar. Second brother, don't be so stubborn anymore. That existence is willing to let you comprehend the power of the 7 supreme rules. Han Huang did not even look up. Thank him for his kind intentions. I have to comprehend my mystical power first. I've comprehended a lot from the previous battle. I'm not obsessed. Fourth sister, don't worry. Han Ling sighed softly. That ultimate evil chaotic devil is indeed powerful. Even if 10 of me help you, I'm not his match. It's mainly the difference in cultivation realm. But how long has it been since the ultimate evil chaotic devil's birth? His background shouldn't be that simple. Even father can only expel him. No matter what his background is, he's still stronger than us. This is the truth. We have to work hard to surpass him. Han Huang spoke firmly. Han Ling could only sigh again. The hall was silent. Only the sound of flowing water echoing in the pool. Han Ling turned around and left, leaving behind a sentence. Second brother, your focus should be on the primordial chaos, and not others. If you are too obsessed with the strength of others, you will forget the most basic and important things. Becoming stronger is more important than thinking of all ways to defeat others. Han Huang opened his eyes and looked at her back, frowning. He did not refute, but fell into deep thought. Chaos 9 Extremes Orthodoxy. Zhao Shuangquan, the 9-headed divine spirit, and Yu Yuan meditated facing each other. Yu Yuan saw Zhao Shuangquan's ugly expression and asked, Tao Lord, what do you want to say? Zhao Shuangquan glanced at him, and took a deep breath before speaking. The 9 Extremes Orthodoxy needs to become stronger. The current level is far from enough. Zhao Shuangquan, who had already awakened the memories of the 8th chaos, knew Yu Yuan's true identity. He was the successor of the first chaos will, and would be possessed by the first chaos sooner or later. However, he had to hide this truth. For this, he nurtured Yu Yuan vigorously, and let him receive treatment that far exceeded what he had received in the Creation Emperor Court. The 9 Extremes Orthodoxy lacks top mighty figures the most. I remember an existence who was the previous leader of the divine spirits. His name is the primordial ancestor god, and he has strength that's not inferior to the ultimate evil chaotic devil. The 9-headed divine spirit smiled leisurely. Zhao Shuangquan raised his eyebrows. Where is he? He was cursed by the dark forbidden lord, and only has a wisp of his will left. He's still in the blank domain. I'll think of a way to revive him. He was once my right-hand man and will listen to me. Oh, you were so powerful in the past. Cough cough, I once controlled the chaos. Then why are you in such a situation? Zhao Shuangquan and Yu Yuan looked at the nine-headed divine spirit in confusion. The nine-headed divine spirit was embarrassed and did not answer. Zhao Shuangquan narrowed his eyes and asked, "Who is it?" The nine-headed divine spirit said, "Divine might. However, this is in the past. I was careless back then." Zhao Shuangquan did not ask further. After seeing the scene of the divine might heavenly sage, suppressing the ultimate evil chaotic devil, he knew that the nine-headed divine spirit's defeat was not in vain. Yu Yuan did not interrupt. It was unknown what he was thinking. One is not enough. What I want is strength that can resist the divine might. The more existences like the primordial ancestor god, the better. When the great Tao immeasurable calamity comes, who can guarantee that the divine might will not enter the calamity? Zhao Shuangquan said in a low voice. He was used to preparing for the worst. The nine-headed divine spirit looked bitter. Brat, do you really think there are many existences like the primordial ancestor god? If not for the divine might heavenly sage's appearance, the primordial ancestor god would be considered an invincible existence in the chaos. The nine-headed divine spirit sighed in his heart. Where did that divine might heavenly sage come from? He had risen too quickly, he could not understand his growth speed. Where's the dark forbidden lord? Can't he even curse the primordial ancestor god to death? Yu Yuan asked. The nine-headed divine spirit rolled his eyes. How mysterious is the dark forbidden lord? Even divine might was cursed by him. You want to subdue him? Yu Yuan said. The dark forbidden lord doesn't dare to show himself. He must be afraid. He might be more confident if we join forces with him. That's easy to say. How can we rope him in? The nine extremes orthodoxy can directly believe in the dark forbidden lord and wait for him to take the initiative to contact us. We can also recruit the dark forbidden lord's believers. As for the negative effects, we can fabricate his legend and beautify him. There aren't many people who truly hate the dark forbidden lord in this era. Zhao Shuangquan's eyes light up. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1081 Forbidden Lord's Trend. Chapter 1081 Forbidden Lord's Trend. The vast years were like a flowing river, never to return. Unknowingly, Hanju's age had reached 240 million years old. His cultivation level had increased again. This feeling was really good. Hanju habitually checked his emails. Your disciple Su Qi was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure X72. Your good friend Zhao Shuangquan was cursed by a mysterious curse. Your enemy, the ninth Chaos Soul Fragment, has suffered damage to his cultivation. Your son Han Huang has absorbed the supreme rules, and his cultivation has increased greatly. Your disciple Ji Xianxian is lost in the river of space-time. Your good friend, the formless transcendent deity, was attacked by a transcendent existence. Your good friend Huang Zuantian has absorbed the nebulous primordial qi, and his soul has begun to transform. Your disciple Jiang Juesher has comprehended a great creation. His providence has increased greatly. Your good friend Chaotic Consciousness has created a great creation. His providence has increased greatly. These years were not as chaotic as before. The chaos began to rest after experiencing the calamity of the ultimate evil chaotic devils. Hanju seemed to have returned to the time when the heavenly Tao restarted. Hanju patiently checked his emails. Then he looked outside the Taoist temple. Some disciples left the Tao field. To them, listening to Hanju's lecture was worth it. The 9 divine stars and Shani were cultivating in the Taoist temple. Hanju was very satisfied with their attitude. His gaze landed on the ultimate origin world. Although infiltrated by spies from other great Tao worlds, the ultimate origin world had always been stable. The 3,000 chaotic fiend celestials were about to become ultimate origin fiend celestials. Even if their potential was inferior to Hanju, the true ultimate origin fiend celestial, they could still surpass the chaotic fiend celestials. The ultimate origin world was temporarily safe. Even if the Tao creator saw the ultimate origin world's potential, it was still far inferior to the chaos. And it was close to the chaos. The ultimate origin world's fate would definitely be the same as the consciousnessless, transcendent, and Shirtion worlds, as long as it collided with the chaos. Hanju shifted his gaze to the chaos. He suddenly raised his eyebrows. Dark Forbidden Lord. Countless Dark Forbidden Lords actually appeared in the chaos. There were also many factions claiming to be the Dark Forbidden Lord. The Heavenly Dao Darkness sect that had disappeared back then also reappeared. What happened? Hanju began to deduce, and his expression became strange. It was actually the Nine Extremes Orthodoxy, Zhao Shuangquan, who had reincarnated the Eighth Chaos Memories, Yu Yuan, who had inherited the First Chaotic Will, and the Nine-Headed Divine Spirit actually declared that they believed in the Dark Forbidden Lord, and even wantonly beautified him, as if he was a savior. Hanju was dumbfounded. What kind of method was this? What kind of idea was this? He deduced seriously, and the more he deduced, the stranger his expression became. They actually want to use the Dark Forbidden Lord to resist me? How arrogant. Zhao Shuangquan still had a good impression of him, but he was already prepared to guard against him. Could it be that he thought Hanju would make a move if he fought Han Huang to death? Hanju put himself in Zhao Shuangquan's shoes. He indeed had to be wary of this level. If it were him, he wouldn't place his hopes on the other party, not fighting with the juniors. However, the Ninth Chaos did not instruct Zhao Shuangquan. Was he most afraid of the Dark Forbidden Lord now? Hanju had no intention of interfering. He naturally wouldn't stop them from beautifying him. Zhao Shuangquan would have wasted his efforts as long as he ignored him. Hanju looked at the Creation Emperor Court of the Transcendent Domain. Han Huang and Han Ling had also been very well behaved during this period of time, especially Han Huang. He was probably too stimulated by the ultimate evil chaotic devil. In addition, the formless transcendent deity began to do things for Hanju and let Han Huang comprehend his supreme rules. Investing in Han Huang was a show of goodwill to Hanju. He observed Han Huang. This kid was already a unique existence below the Tao creator realm, but he was still far from becoming a Tao creator. The creation and construction of the great Tao world took a long time. This was also why there were only 5 Tao creators since ancient times. Hanju was different. His system was the greatest creation. His great Tao world had begun to take form a long time ago, and his physique far exceeded the primordial fiend celestial. I wonder when the next Tao creator will appear, and who it will be. Hanju thought curiously. He didn't use the system's derivation function. It was more interesting to leave some unknowns. A new Tao creator could not threaten him. After that, Hanju closed his eyes and continued his seclusion. He wanted to see if he could reach the perfected Tao creator realm before turning 300 million years old. In a vast world, the sky was like jade. The undulating mountains formed a natural chasm in the sky. On the top of a huge peak sat a Tao palace. A plaque hung on the door with 3 words printed on it. Purple Firmament Palace. Thousands of cultivators in Taoist robes meditated in the palace, facing the same direction. Hong Jun sat at the head of the table. He had white hair and an indifferent expression. His entire body emitted an extraordinary aura. A Taoist asked, "Teacher, now that the great Tao immeasurable calamity is about to descend, the ultimate evil chaotic devils slaughtered countless people in the chaos previously. It's already a calamity. What's the true great Tao immeasurable calamity?" All the Tao seekers in Purple Firmament Palace looked at Hong Jun. Hong Jun was the Tao ancestor's reincarnation, and he had preached the Tao for 100 million years. He was already famous. In the eyes of these Tao seekers, Hong Jun was already a chaos expert who had attained the Tao and stood at the peak. Hong Jun replied, "The great Tao immeasurable calamity can't be predicted, but it will definitely be the most difficult calamity ever. You should be thinking about when it will descend. That will only increase your worries." His words caused a commotion among the Tao seekers. With our potential, how many years will it take us to catch up to the ultimate evil chaotic devil? The entire chaos was almost destroyed. What can we do? In the chaos, the 9 extremes orthodoxy, the Creation Emperor Court, the Northern Chaos, and the Tao-addled sect are the strongest. However, it's very difficult for us to join them. Sigh. I suddenly feel that cultivation is meaningless. We can't change anything. No. Fellow Taoists, you still have to have faith. You might not be able to do it alone. But what if there are 10,000, a million, or even billions? Hong Jun did not interrupt their discussion. After a long time, after all the Tao seekers lost interest, the purple firmament palace quietened down. Their gazes landed on Hong Jun again. They could only rely on this person in front of them. Those legendary chaotic mighty figures were too far away from them. Hong Jun said slowly, I've experienced several great Tao immeasurable calamities. Although this immeasurable calamity will be far greater than before, don't worry, I'll take action. All of you can cultivate well in the purple firmament palace. There might be a chance. The Tao seekers looked at each other. Many of them smiled. This was the guarantee of Hong Jun's protection. A clap sounded at this moment. All the Tao seekers turned around and saw a figure walking through the door of the purple firmament palace. This figure was extremely majestic and had disheveled hair. He emitted a great power as he walked. Hong Jun narrowed his eyes and asked, Why are you here? The newcomer laughed. I'm here to take back my things. He was Panga. Hong Jun narrowed his eyes and said, All of you leave. I have something to talk about with this old friend. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Calm. Chapter 1082 8th Supreme Rule. Chapter 1082 8th Supreme Rule. The disciples of Purple Firmament Palace were evacuated, leaving only Pangu and Hong Jun. The Heavenly Tao's founder and the Heavenly Tao's strengthener met. The atmosphere was subtle. Hong Jun was not surprised or flustered to see Pangu. Panga stopped less than 100 feet away and said, You should know why I'm here. Hong Jun said, I know what you want, but that thing is not in my possession. Otherwise, I wouldn't have left the Heavenly Tao. Panga stared at him. What about the jade slip of creation? It must have absorbed the Heavenly Tao's transcendent rule. It's precisely because there is no transcendent rule that the Heavenly Tao has intelligence. The only one who can snatch it is you. Hong Jun shook his head. The chaos invaded the Heavenly Tao many times during my Tao integration. The Heavenly Tao was damaged several times. My cultivation level in the past was insufficient, and I didn't know about the transcendent rule. Panga stared at him, his eyes becoming dangerous. Hong Jun was fearless. Killing intent began to fill the purple firmament palace. Even the swaying candlelight stopped moving. The atmosphere was oppressive. Hong Jun said, It's not feasible to walk the path of the great Tao world after attaining creation. Transcendent, consciousnessless, and Shirtion have already been devoured by the chaos. We should think of another way. Panga asked, What other way? Hong Jun stared at him and said, Snatching the karma of the calamity and creating the chaos creation. Panga frowned. We have always fought for the present and rules. But there are not only rules in the world, nor are there only the present, Hong Jun said slowly. He stood up and said, Pangu, you are the Heavenly Tao's ancestor and I am the Heavenly Tao's Tao ancestor. We will have a chance of survival if we join forces. I will be killed by the Tao creator once I appear in my true body. It's useless even if I take your transcendent rule. Panga asked, You want to walk the path of the chaos? Hong Jun said, No. Compared to the primordial chaos, the chaos is about the perfection of rules. If we want to replace the chaos, we have to gather more creation. The Heavenly Tao could have replaced the chaos, but the chaos discovered it in time. Why can the Heavenly Tao replace the chaos? I think it's because of the Heavenly Tao race. There are no Heavenly Tao races in the chaos. There are many races in the chaos. It looks good, but it actually caused the chaos to be unable to advance. What's the difference from the past, even though the chaos has been flourishing? Once the various races of the chaos become stronger, they will be slaughtered by the evil devils and return to their original state. Such a balance should be overturned. We can absorb the chaos providence and create a new creation if we can create a race that unites everything and overturn everything with the chaos creation. The chaos can't stop it even if it wants to. Hong Jun's words were powerful, causing Panga's brows to gradually spread. Panga asked, If that's the case, how can the chaos let this race grow up? Hong Jun said, I'm looking for a supreme treasure that can change karma and providence. We'll make this race pretend to be a chaotic race, and then wait for it to become unstoppable before revealing its true identity. All these years, my soul has been scattered everywhere looking for this treasure. I will continue to search, while you inspect the heavenly Tao race. Choose one. Panga thought for a moment and nodded in agreement. Hong Jun looked at him, and saw the deep meaning in each other's eyes. 10 million years later, Han Ju, who was now 250 million years old, opened his eyes. He suddenly disappeared, and his main body appeared in the ultimate origin world. The ultimate origin world had been expanding. As it became stronger, it flew faster and faster towards the chaos. The pressure of the chaos on the great Tao world was too strong. But luckily, the ultimate origin world was sufficiently far away. Not to mention the ultimate origin world. Even the purity great Tao world was some time away from colliding with the chaos. Han Ju stood at the peak of the ultimate origin world and looked down. The 7 supreme rules were above the 3,000 great Tao of ultimate origin. Under Han Ju's gaze, a new supreme rule was about to be born. There were only 7 supreme rules in each great Tao world. Karma, providence, slaughter, creation, destiny, reincarnation, and space-time. Perhaps there were differences, but they were probably the same, especially karma, providence, and creation. These 3 supreme rules were the core. Han Ju was curious about what the ultimate origin world's 8th supreme rule was going to be. This new supreme rule was already about to be born before he appeared, so he did not have to wait long. The 8th supreme rule was actually the Devour rule. It was very similar to Han Ju's great Tao of Devour, but was even more advanced. The ultimate origin world could devour other great Tao worlds with this supreme rule. Could it be that one of the supreme rules of the chaos was devouring, so it could devour those great Tao worlds? Didn't this mean that the ultimate origin world was about to catch up to the chaos? However, the ultimate origin world was still approaching the chaos, which meant that its power was stronger. Otherwise, it would be the chaos approaching the ultimate origin world. Han Ju watched for a while. He left after the 8th supreme rule stabilized. He did not return to the Tao field. Instead, he wandered in the blank domain. After leaving the blank domain, he stopped and said, "Show yourself." With that, a figure appeared behind him. Han Ju looked over. It was a figure he had never seen before. Tao Creator. Could it be the most mysterious yin-yang purity nirvana deity? Han Ju immediately used the simulation trial test. Yin-yang purity nirvana deity. Mid-stage Tao Creator, chaotic deity, blank guardian, ancestor of terror, transcends the chaos and exists in eternal space-time. Indeed, it's him. Han Ju asked, "What do you want?" The yin-yang purity nirvana deity was surrounded by black and white qi. The qi turned into mist, and his body looked very small, but his aura was very strong. "I want to see how strong you, a junior, are. You're so strong that existence thinks you're second." The yin-yang purity nirvana deity snorted. "Second place?" This was killing him with flattery. Han Ju asked, "I naturally can't be second." "Who said that? Want a curse?" "Ninth chaos." The yin-yang purity nirvana deity smiled. His tone was a little strange. Han Ju remained silent. That was not flattery, but instigation. Yin-yang purity nirvana deity. Find a place to spar? The aftermath of a Tao Creator level fight would be terrifying. It would definitely affect the chaos and the other great Tao worlds. Han Ju said, "Lead the way." In any case, he had already split his will. He could revive even if he died. Tao creators could only spar and not kill each other. Perhaps after Han Ju became a creator lord, he could decide the life and death of Tao creators. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity turned around and left. Han Ju followed closely behind. Just as they left, the chaotic consciousness, the formless transcendent deity, and the immeasurable destruction venerable appeared. TSK, they are indeed going to fight. Who will win? It's hard to say. Purity Nirvana is always in seclusion. He fought against the chaos back then. He must be stronger now. Indeed, his aura shocked me. However, the divine might heavenly sage is not simple either. His aura is ethereal no matter when we look at him. He doesn't look strong, but we can't see through him. This means that the difference between us is extremely great. The three Tao creators began to discuss. They weren't sure who would win. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1083 Fighting Yin-Yang. Chapter 1083 Fighting Yin-Yang. Hanju entered the depths of the blank domain under Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity's lead. This place was far from the chaos, the ultimate origin world, and the purity great Tao world. Even if the Tao creators fought here, the other waves would find it very difficult to threaten the various great Tao worlds. It was really too far. It would take tens of thousands of years for a great Tao Supreme to rush over. Hanju activated all his supreme treasures and distanced himself from the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity. He agreed to this battle to intimidate the ninth chaos. Recently, many chaotic spies had appeared in the ultimate origin world, including cultivators from the nine extremes orthodoxy. There had to be a conspiracy behind this. Although the ultimate origin world was inferior to the chaos, Hanju was not afraid of the ninth chaos. He had already reached the late-stage Tao creator realm, and the ninth chaos was injured by his curse. He could still resist even if he couldn't insta-kill him. In any case, the ninth chaos was already filled with hatred towards him. Showing his strength appropriately was also a deterrent. The black and white chi around the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity began to spread. It quickly circled around a scene of the great Tao world, as if chaos had descended into this pale void. Let me see how powerful the second Tao creator is. The Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity smiled, his tone filled with disdain. This fellow was so arrogant. Hanju frowned. Logically speaking, a Tao creator shouldn't have such a bearing. Could it be that the other party was deliberately provoking him to see what he was capable of? It seemed that the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity and the ninth chaos were closer than he had imagined. Otherwise, the ninth chaos wouldn't have let the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity attain the mid-stage Tao creator realm. Hanju didn't say anything and directly used ultimate origin soul oblivion. 7 blades of divine punishment appeared around him. The 7 red blades surrounded his body. Sometimes they grew longer, and sometimes shorter. A terrifying sharp aura surged towards Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity. At first glance, Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity knew that this mystical power was extremely piercing and could not be blocked. Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity's body suddenly dissipated. The black and white mist surged violently towards Hanju from all directions. It had the domineering aura of devouring the world and of being unstoppable. Hanju's eyes narrowed. 7 divine punishment light blades suddenly swept in all directions. Their speed was so fast that countless afterimages could be seen. It was as if they split into billions of light blades and forcefully dispersed the black and white mist. The black and white mist that covered nearly half of the blank domain was instantly dispersed, leaving only a trace of remnant chi. Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity suddenly appeared behind Hanju. A hand covered in strange Tao patterns stretched out. In an instant, a black and white vortex appeared behind Hanju, as if space was distorted and wanted to disperse his body. Swish! A divine punishment light blade attacked and tore apart the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity and the black and white vortex. Hanju couldn't be bothered to turn around. He was invincible once the ultimate origin soul oblivion was activated. The Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity kept moving and appearing. Every time he appeared, he would be found by the ultimate origin soul oblivion and destroyed time and time again. However, he persevered and tried his best to find a flaw. This scene shocked the 3 Tao creators in the distance. What mystical power is that? It's not as simple as speed. The enemy will immediately be attacked when they appear. It feels like karma. The Divine Might Heavenly Sage's mystical power is very strong. I'm inferior. Hanju and the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity knew about the 3 Tao creators watching the battle, but they didn't care. Since the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity dared to challenge Hanju, he was already prepared to fail. As for Hanju, he felt that he wouldn't lose. The Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity appeared again. He spread his arms and black and white chi surged out. Hanju's vision instantly turned black and white. When the black and white became clear and various colors surged into his vision, he was pulled into the cycle of reincarnation. The experiences of reincarnation appeared in front of him. He He was like a spectator watching himself undergo reincarnation. Hanju snorted. Child's play. With that, the cycle of reincarnation shattered, and his vision returned to a blank domain. The yin-yang void destruction deity appeared in front of him. He held a bone staff in his left hand, as he forcefully blocked the ultimate origin soul oblivion. He formed a seal with his right hand. The square shape had the profundity of the ultimate origin heaven seal, as it collided with Hanju. This time, the yin-yang purity nirvana deity succeeded. Hanju was struck by the mysterious seal. His soul suffered an impact, and was forcefully forced out of his body. Hanju looked over. His body was 1,000 feet away. What a domineering mystical power. Even I, a late-stage Tao creator, can't resist it. Hanju thought in surprise. However, this was the only thing impressive about it. Even if his soul and body were separated, the yin-yang purity nirvana deity could not withstand the ultimate origin soul oblivion. The mysterious bone staff blocked the ultimate origin heaven seal once, and was scattered the second time. Hanju smiled as his soul shrank into his body. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity split into countless clones that covered a radius of billions of kilometers. There were countless of them, and they all attacked Hanju. 7 divine punishment light blades swept back and forth, destroying one yin-yang purity nirvana deity after another. At this moment, a yin-yang purity nirvana deity in the distance raised his arms and shook the dharmic powers in his body. He actually tore a hole in the blank domain. This hole was black, and strange white lightning interwove within. Spatial power. This spatial crack was not torn apart by the blank domain, but an alternate space had descended into it. Hanju saw the truth at a glance. He was about to attack when the hole suddenly expanded and quickly devoured him. Yin-yang purity nirvana deity, and Hanju fell into the endless spatial vortex at the same time. Yin-yang purity nirvana deity was still constantly attacking him. He still persevered, even though he was destroyed by the ultimate origin soul oblivion countless times. Hanju relied on his supreme treasures, and the ultimate origin soul oblivion, and was not injured at all. On the other hand, the yin-yang purity nirvana deity had already been destroyed tens of millions of times, but he was not affected because he was a Tao creator. The surrounding space reversed, and a spatial torrent appeared above Hanju's head. Billions of stars entered his eyes. In an instant, Hanju suddenly landed on a piece of land. The galaxy hung upside down in the sky, and the ground under his feet was endlessly barren. Yin-yang purity nirvana deity descended at the end of the horizon. With a wave of his sleeve, black and white chi condensed into a terrifying beam of light that shot over. The mountains along the way shattered, and the ground was severed. A divine punishment light blade dispersed the black and white light. Yin-yang void destruction deity appeared above Hanju's head. Yin-yang purity nirvana deity raised his right hand. Countless stars of different sizes appeared in his palm. He threw them down. The stars suddenly expanded the moment his body was destroyed by the ultimate origin soul, as if countless real stars were raining down. Some were 100 million times larger than the sun, dense and mighty. Hanju looked up, and 2 sword chi shot out from his eyes. The sword chi soared into the sky. In an instant, countless sword chi interwove in this strange world, slicing the terrifying starry rain into dust. The ground under Hanju's feet collapsed at this moment. The soil and rocks dissipated like smoke. Endless magma appeared below. Scorching air rose and burned until space distorted and collapsed. A mysterious suction force pulled him down. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1084 First Time in the Ultimate Origin Heavenly Prison. Chapter 1084 First Time in the Ultimate Origin Heavenly Prison. The suction force in the endless magma was very strong. Ordinary Tao creators might not be able to block it, but it was like the power of a child to Hanju. He remained calm and didn't move. His gaze landed on the constantly destroyed and reborn yin-yang purity nirvana deity. Is that all you're capable of? Hanju asked. As soon as he finished speaking, this strange world shattered like a mirror and endless darkness attacked. Yin-yang purity nirvana deity appeared again and continued to cast spells, pulling Hanju into the river of destiny. The endless river of destiny occupied the entire dark void. Hanju looked at the river of destiny as he resisted yin-yang purity nirvana deity's attack. He saw the reincarnation of his children and disciples, saw those old friends who had already died still struggling in the mortal world. He even saw his future friends turn against each other and fight to the death. Yin-yang purity nirvana deity followed the river of destiny and attacked. Countless dharmic powers arrows broke through the water surface and shot at Hanju. The arrows were long and each carried a spatial line. The monstrous providence in a spatial line condensed on their arrows, causing them all to erupt with terrifying power. Hanju's eyes narrowed. The ultimate origin heaven seal suddenly appeared and blocked all the arrows. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity had just been reborn when the ultimate origin soul oblivion was pulled over by a terrifying suction force. His soul and body were directly stuck to it. An invisible force sealed him, making him unable to move. How can this be? The yin-yang purity nirvana deity was shocked. He wanted to kill his body and revive, but he could not. His soul and dharmic powers were all imprisoned. He looked at Hanju in disbelief. Hanju walked over on the endless and majestic river of destiny. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity was a little stunned by his figure. In a daze, the yin-yang purity nirvana deity recalled the scene when he challenged the ninth chaos. It was the same then. No matter how many times he was reborn, he could not hurt the ninth chaos, and was finally suppressed. However, that was because he had yet to break through. Now that he had already surpassed the Tao Creator and taken a huge step forward, he thought he would be calm even if he faced the ninth chaos again. However, reality gave him a warning. Hanju's strength made him feel helpless. From the battle until now, only dozens of breaths of time had passed for mortals, but he had already died hundreds of millions of times. If not for the fact that the Tao Creator would not die, he would not be Hanju's match at all. Was this the strength of the second strongest Tao Creator? The yin-yang purity nirvana deity gritted his teeth and struggled with all his might. Hanju was expressionless. The divine light emitted by the supreme treasure on his body covered his face. Even the yin-yang purity nirvana deity couldn't see his expression. Is it just a spar? Hanju's voice sounded softly, but it was filled with endless killing intent. He wanted to force the yin-yang purity nirvana deity to bow his head. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity was angry. What? You want to kill me? Do you have the ability? Hanju raised his right hand, and the eighth divine punishment light blade appeared. The previous 7 great divine punishment light blades represented the 7 supreme rules of the ultimate origin world. Now that the 8th supreme rule had been born, his ultimate origin soul oblivion also gave birth to a new power. Devouring power. Hanju said, I can't kill you, but I can devour your great Tao world and your transcendent rule, making you my slave forever. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity panicked. The ninth chaos treated the other 3 Tao creators like this. The reason why he survived was that he had begged the ninth chaos for mercy. He was like an ant begging the heavens for mercy. It was a humiliation buried deep in the yin-yang purity nirvana deity's heart. Even the other 3 Tao creators did not know about this. A Tao creator was actually so shameless. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity was furious as he recalled that traumatic scene. He couldn't do it a second time. The furious yin-yang purity nirvana deity emitted a terrifying aura. The black and white chi actually transformed into a scarlet murderous aura. His black and white body also turned blood red. It seemed like he was about to explode. Hanju felt bored and couldn't be bothered to delay. 8 divine punishment light blades attacked the yin-yang purity nirvana deity, nailed to the ultimate origin heaven seal. Boom! The yin-yang purity nirvana deity was instantly dispersed and his body and soul were destroyed. The 8 divine punishment light blades did not continue to move. Instead, they emitted a 7-colored light and condensed the yin-yang purity nirvana deity's soul in the divine punishment light blade. Then it ate and devoured it. Blank domain, the chaotic consciousness, the formless transcendent deity, and the immeasurable destruction. Venerable looked at Hanju walking over with mixed emotions. Hanju seemed to be strolling in the courtyard, but every step was very fast. He arrived in front of them in a few steps. Where's the yin-yang purity nirvana deity? The chaotic consciousness asked. Hanju said. Fellow Taoist Yin sparred with me to a draw and left. They were on par. The three Tao creators almost lost their composure. They clearly saw Hanju suppressing the yin-yang purity nirvana deity. The battle between the two Tao creators was like a sage fighting a mortal. Yin-yang purity nirvana deity couldn't hurt Hanju no matter what he did. The difference? They felt despair just from the yin-yang purity nirvana deity's perspective. Hanju nodded slightly at them, and quickly disappeared. The immeasurable destruction Venerable couldn't help but ask. What happened just now? Is the yin-yang purity nirvana deity dead? The chaotic consciousness said firmly, impossible. A Tao creator won't die. There's only one possibility. He escaped and doesn't dare to pester anymore. The formless transcendent deity nodded. They could live until today, because of the Tao creator's indestructible trait. Third Tao field. The 9 divine stars and Shani were chased out of the Taoist temple. They didn't have any doubts, and thought that Hanju wanted to comprehend a mystical power. So they began the simulation trial to spar. Hanju sat on the lotus throne, and silently used the ultimate origin heavenly prison. In front of him stood a divine punishment light blade, which contained the yin-yang purity nirvana deity's will. The Devour Supreme Rule was actually so powerful. No wonder the 9th chaos could subdue other Tao creators. This supreme rule should not be as simple as devouring. It was only because it seemed to devour the great Tao that Hanju gave it such a name. This supreme rule would be born naturally in the great Tao world, after one reached the late-stage Tao creator realm. It was really powerful. After being trapped by the Devour Supreme Power, although the Tao creator would not die, his consciousness would not be able to escape. His connection with his other clones and will was even severed. This gave Hanju a chance to use the ultimate origin heavenly prison. Can the mid-stage Tao creator be enslaved by the ultimate origin heavenly prison? Hanju asked in his mind. Yes, but it will take a long time. Hanju's eyes lit up. Fortunately, he had upgraded the primordial heavenly prison back then. Otherwise, it might still be useless against a Tao creator. As for how long it would take, Hanju didn't care at all. What he did not lack the most was time. The 9th chaos sent you a dream. Do you accept? A notification suddenly appeared in front of him. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1085 Jui. Chapter 1085 Jui. Hanju hesitated. He knew what the 9th chaos was here for. Can I subdue the 9th chaos like I subdued the yin-yang purity nirvana deity? Hanju asked silently. 50 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue? No. Can I defeat the 9th chaos? 50 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. Yes. Hanju was not surprised. He had already thought so. He wanted to confirm it just to be sure. The 9th chaos sent you a dream. Do you want to continue? Again. Hanju hesitated for a moment, but still chose to accept it. The dream was a blank domain. Hanju saw the 9th chaos. It was still so mysterious, and didn't seem to be affected by the curse or mental demons. The 9th chaos asked, Where's the yin-yang purity nirvana deity? Let him go. Hanju said. I sparred with him, and we felt like old friends at first sight. I invited him to my Tao field as a guest. Barge into my Tao field if you have the ability. He believed that the 9th chaos had once thought of barging into the Tao field, but he failed. Then let him out first. I have something to tell him, 9th chaos said forcefully. Hanju said, No, we'll talk about it after some time. Silence. The dream fell silent. Hanju could feel the 9th chaos aura fluctuating. It seemed that the mental demon's appearance caused him to no longer be as calm as before. Hanju wasn't in a hurry, and let the 9th chaos steam. In terms of pressure, the 9th chaos should be the greatest, because he was about to lose his authority. The 9th chaos said, All right, tell him to come to find me when he comes out. The dream shattered. Hanju opened his eyes, and his expression became subtle. It seemed that the 9th chaos had not lost his mind. The 9th chaos was probably waiting for the endless era to arrive, before forcefully becoming a creator lord. Hanju couldn't deal with him either. He couldn't kill the 9th chaos, or even suppress their battle would be endless. They still had to be wary of each other, and couldn't even cultivate in peace. The current situation was the best choice for both sides. Next, it depended on who broke through earlier. Hanju slowly closed his eyes and continued cultivating. As for the yin-yang purity nirvana deity, he was still sealed in the ultimate origin soul oblivion, waiting to be enslaved. A huge crimson star landed in the lonely void. A mysterious red mist filled the surroundings. In the star, the ground was barren, but it was dotted with lakes of different sizes. The lake's surface was frozen, contrasting with the seemingly scorching ground. A naked human youth landed on all fours like a monkey. He only had a trouser dress made of beast skin tied around his waist. His hair was disheveled and his face was dirty. His eyes were murky like dust. The human youth looked extremely tiny under the sky, like an ant wandering aimlessly, lonely and desolate. After an unknown period of time, the human youth was tired. He stopped at the edge of a small lake and began to lick the frozen surface with his tongue. Soon his tongue stuck to the ice and he subconsciously retracted it. Blood surged from the wound that formed, and he rolled back in pain. The blood landed on the ice and burned a huge hole. Immediately after, the entire surface of the lake began to melt. Mist rose. The human youth did not notice this scene. He was covering his mouth and rolling on the ground in pain. After the pain subsided, he slowly turned around. However, the scene in front of him left him stunned. The surface of the lake was shimmering. A refreshing breeze blew over, making him feel refreshed. The human youth immediately rushed over and sprawled in the river by the lake. He wolfed down the food until his hair was wet. At this moment, a voice sounded. "You came by foot. What do you want?" The human youth suddenly looked up and saw a white-haired old man standing at the side, stroking his beard and smiling. It was the leader of the nether race, Hanyu. He had already completely fused with the ultimate origin providence and become an ultimate origin life form. The human youth squeaked and danced excitedly. Hanyu smiled and asked, "You want to seek the Tao? You want to fly into the sky and enter the ground?" The human youth nodded desperately. Hanyu sized him up and sighed. "I didn't expect an existence like you to be born in the ultimate origin world. I'll give you the title of human race ancestor." Human ancestor? The human youth did not understand, but he felt that it was a good thing, and was even happier. He began to circle around Hanyu. Sometimes he scratched his ears and cheeks, and sometimes he pulled his pants and belt. Hanyu waved his sleeve, and a beam of light surged into the human youth's forehead. The human youth froze. He returned to his senses after a long time. He looked at Hanyu and asked, "Are you very powerful? Can you fly and break through the ground?" Clearly, he had seen how powerful the cultivators of the ultimate origin world were. Hanyu smiled. "Of course I can. I can teach you. Really, you can be considered determined to have walked here. But I hope that you can seriously consider the meaning of your existence during your cultivation," Hanyu said seriously. The human youth seemed to understand. Hanyu sighed upon seeing how simple he was. This was the first person in the ultimate origin world. In the heavenly Tao, the human race was fabricated by Nuwa, but this youth was a natural product of the ultimate origin world. The human youth had no parents. He was born at the bottom of a lake and had absorbed millions of years of heaven and earth spirit chi. His body was different from ordinary people, but he did not know how to use his dermic powers at all. Hanyu held the human youth's hand and walked into the distance. "From now on, your name is Ju-yi." All right. I have a name too. Call me Master from now on." "Master. Good disciple. Master, where are you bringing me? How can I fly?" "You'll know in the future." 10 million years later, Hanju opened his eyes and looked at the ultimate origin soul oblivion in front of him. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity had yet to be successfully enslaved, as expected of a mid-stage Tao creator. However, he could wait no matter how long it took. Hanju started to check his emails. All these years, Li Daokong, Zhao Shuangquan, and Ji Xianxin had been exceptionally active. Hanju could understand the first two, but Ji Xianxin surprised him. Unknowingly, Ji Xianxin had actually become a great Tao Supreme. He had been traveling through space and time, and the river of destiny, absorbing the power of space and time, never returning to the chaos. Ji Xianxin had fallen in the past and future. He had once challenged Laozi's past self, but the present Laozi had crossed space and time and almost killed him. As for why he didn't kill him, it was probably because of Han Ju. From now on, Ji Xianxin didn't dare to do anything in the past. At most he would go and absorb power. As for the future, Ji Xianxin did not dare to act recklessly. Han Ju was still looking forward to Ji Xianxin's experience. He also wanted to see if there was an example of his disciples relying on themselves to rise. Although the spirit qi in the Tao field was very abundant, cultivation had to rely on one's own creation after reaching the great Tao sage realm. It was not something that could be achieved through bitter cultivation. Han Ju sensed Ji Xianxin's dermic powers and saw that he was almost catching up to Tao Sovereign. Thank you for reading on myboxnovel.com. Chapter 1086 Unknown Realm. Chapter 1086 Unknown Realm. My descendants have their own future. Let them be. Han Ju thought silently. It had been a long time since he interfered with his descendants and disciples. Han Ju looked at the chaos after reading the emails. Peace returned to the chaos after the ultimate evil chaotic devil was suppressed. Although more than half of the living beings were killed, Han Ju discovered that the providence of the chaos was actually increasing very quickly. Not only that, but the chaos was expanding. To be precise, it was not expanding. It was more like it was being torn apart. The chaotic space was collapsing layer by layer. The spirit qi also spread out and became thin. It seemed that the ninth chaos was preparing to tear the chaos apart. Of course, it was not simply tearing it apart, but an increase in creation. It broke through the restrictions of the blank domain on the great Tao world, causing it to be distributed to every corner of the blank domain, which would usher in the endless era. The chaos was already endless to living beings below the great Tao sage realm. The blank domain was even larger. Even the Tao creators did not know how big it was. However, one thing was certain. The current blank domain was led by the chaos. Other than that, the other great Tao worlds were not big and could not threaten the chaos. It was unknown if the arrival of the endless era still needed Han Huang's strength. Han Ju looked forward to who the seventh Tao creator was going to be. Chaotic consciousness, yin-yang purity nirvana deity. Chaotic consciousness, immeasurable destruction venerable formless transcendent deity, divine might heavenly sage. Han Ju decided to wait in anticipation. He looked at the ultimate origin world next. The ultimate origin world was still steadily developing. Humans even appeared. The ancestor of the human race, Ju Yi, had obtained Han Yu's legacy. It was equivalent to obtaining Han Ju's inheritance. After attaining the Tao, he created the human race and attained freedom in a few million years. Such potential was already very good. He would probably have already become a great Tao sage in the chaos. Han Ju didn't care about his name. He saw through Han Yu's thoughts and knew he wanted to please him. Han Ju might take care of him in the future because of his name. Unfortunately, he didn't have that thought for now. Han Ju continued cultivating after seeing that everything was fine. 2 seclusion cycles passed in the blink of an eye. This meant that 20 million years had passed. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity had yet to be successfully enslaved. Han Ju had no choice but to continue waiting. The chaos regained its vitality after so many years. With more living beings, there were also more battles. The great Tao immeasurable calamity was uttered by all living beings again. The 9 extremes orthodoxy roped in many dark believers after claiming to believe in the dark forbidden Lord. However, many troubles also followed. At least, they had severed the path of unifying the chaos. All living beings were still very resistant to the dark forbidden Lord. They felt that he was not a good person, just from his name and style. However, Zhao Shuangquan was already obsessed. He swore to gather the power to resist the divine might heavenly sage. As for unifying the chaos, it was no longer that important to him. Han Ju began to ignore the chaos. He only wanted to break through and enslave the yin-yang purity nirvana deity now. 20 million years of cultivation allowed Han Ju to get closer and closer to breaking through. He wanted to see what would happen first, his breakthrough, or the successful enslaving of the Tao creator. Han Ju closed his eyes. On the other side, the 9 divine stars and Shani had already established their own Taoist temples at the side. After all, they had been chased out for so long. It was impossible for them to not have a home. Hanju's seclusion made the disciples guess. Even the Tao companions were guessing. Hanju's women would gather in Xing Hongshuan's Taoist temple every once in a while. Other than discussing the Tao, they would also chat and discuss some chaotic matters. Qingwaner sighed. Husband hasn't come out for a long time. Did something happen? Li Yao said. He should be breaking through. Tao Comprehension Sword chuckled. He rarely looked at us in the past. Get used to it. She and Li Yao often felt like they had been forgotten by Hanju before the Tao field was opened. Fairy Shixian sighed. What realm will he reach if he breaks through again? The women sighed. Li Yao, who was the most motivated in cultivation, was even more fascinated. At this moment, a voice came from outside the Taoist temple. Mothers, I'm here to visit. I have something to ask of you. Han Yunjin was Li Yao's son. All the women doted on him, even surpassing the other children, including Xing Hongxian. Although Han Huang was outstanding, Han Yunjin was the only one who often returned to visit them. Unlike their other children who would not return after going out, and could only meet during the chaotic assembly. Come in, Xing Hongxian said. She was the master of the Taoist temple, so she naturally had the right to speak. Han Yunjin entered the temple and bowed respectfully to each mother. His posture was very respectful. Even Tao Comprehension Sword beamed. Tao Comprehension Sword smiled. Yuer isn't here. Otherwise she would definitely be asking you questions. Perhaps because of their similar personalities, Tao Comprehension Sword and Chang Yuer were very close. Han Yunjin smiled. She wants to take in some women from the Han family as her disciples. I've already chosen a batch of female disciples for her. Li Yao asked, just say it. What is it? Han Yunjin paused for a moment before saying, recently, I heard that a woman wants to marry second brother. This woman's father is the master of a chaotic overlord force. In order to attract second brother, he prepared to attack the heavenly Tao and wanted to force him to appear. Speaking of this, he was speechless. He did not expect the heavenly Tao to suffer such an undeserved calamity. He had no choice but to come to the Tao field because of the sages. Xing Hongxian frowned. Is this woman so domineering? She naturally paid attention to her daughter-in-law. But this matter made her very unhappy. She wasn't the only one. The others were also very unhappy. Qingwaner said. Perhaps this is the reason why Huanger doesn't like her. Xian Qingjun smiled. It's not easy to subdue such a woman. Back then, I had the same attitude towards your father. I didn't really like him then. Han Yunjin smiled bitterly. Mothers, it's mainly the heavenly Tao now. Most of the descendants of the Han family are in the heavenly Tao. The Han family will be affected if the hidden sect doesn't make a move, or if second brother doesn't return. Xing Hongxian snorted. Sisters, why don't we go? We should do something after cultivating for so long. Xian Qingjuan's eyes lit up. She was the demon lord back then. Qingwaner was a little nervous. She had never fought. Tao Comprehension Sword looked at Li Yao. Li Yao nodded slowly under Han Yunjin's expectant gaze. The strongest among the women was Li Yao. She had to take the lead. The women grew confident since she agreed. After all, they were facing a chaotic overlord force. They were convinced by Li Yao's strength. They had sparred with each other in the simulation trial. Han Yunjin smiled. He admired his mother the most. As a woman, she had a tenacious will that was not inferior to his father. Han Yunjin left after exchanging some pleasantries. The women chatted about the situation in the chaos. They were also very curious about the great Tao immeasurable calamity. Xing Hongxian, Xian Qingjun, and Li Yao had already begun to establish their great Tao worlds, so they were all looking forward to the endless era. Hanju was immersed in cultivation. A black vortex suddenly appeared in front of him before his seclusion ended. He opened his eyes with a strange expression. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1087 Marriage Affinity. Chapter 1087 Marriage Affinity Summoning Me? Hanju was a little unhappy. He wanted to break through in one go. but his rhythm was interrupted. However, it was Xing Hongxian who had summoned him. He had to help her. He looked at the other end of the black vortex. It was the heavenly Tao. At this moment, countless figures floated in the vast void outside the heavenly Tao. All sorts of vast Dharma treasures were mixed in. Several chaotic cities and chaotic heavenly roads had already been destroyed. The cultivators on the heavenly Tao's side had their backs facing the heavenly Tao. Their number was great, but the aura gathered together was far inferior to the enemy. Countless corpses floated in the void between the two sides. Most of them were heavenly Tao life forms. Li Yao, Xing Hongxian, Xian Qingjun, and the other women stood among the sages. All the sages looked at the black vortex in front of Xing Hongxian. Heavenly Venerate Xian Du's eyes were also filled with anticipation. Would that existence really come? How many years had it been? He missed the atmosphere when he discussed the heavenly Tao with Hanju. At that time, he felt no pressure with Hanju around. In the past, when Hanju was around, he would be wary. Now that Hanju was gone, he was restrained and didn't dare to completely carry out his ambitions. Are you summoning Han Huang? Very good, I'll wait. A laugh sounded. The speaker was in a pavilion. She stood in front of the guardrail in a gorgeous dress. Her face was beautiful, and her posture was arrogant, like an empress looking down on all living beings. She was called Goddess Mingji, and she was very famous in the chaos. She was extremely powerful. Below the pavilion was a seven-headed beast as big as a star. It had a body like a huge turtle and 7 heads like dragons, tigers, cheilants, and so on. In front of the 7-headed beast stood 3 great Tao Supremes and dozens of great Tao sages. Just the 3 great Tao Supremes were enough to suffocate the heavenly Tao. One of them had even reached the perfected great Tao Supreme realm. His aura was even more dazzling than the bright sun. Many mighty figures appeared in the heavenly Tao, but they had already established their own sects, causing no one in the heavenly Tao to be stronger than Li Yao. Li Yao could resist the 3 great Tao Supremes, but the heavenly Tao was at a disadvantage in the great Tao Sage battle. Is that senior summoning the divine Punisher Han Huang? It's said that they are all the Tao companions of the divine might heavenly sage. The one using the summoning mystical power is Han Huang's biological mother. They look so young. They're courting death. When Han Huang comes, it will be a calamity. Why isn't he out yet? The heavenly Tao sages discussed. The cultivators behind them also spoke, but their knowledge was shallow. Many of them had never even heard of Han Huang. They only knew that this was a calamity for the heavenly Tao. After the cruel battle just now, they knew that the heavenly Tao was about to lose. They would all die if they did not invite the chaotic mighty figures. The black vortex was silent. Only space fluctuated and nothing appeared. The entire void fell silent for a time. Seconds passed. The black vortex still did not move. Xing Hongxian frowned. Xian Qingjun, Li Yao, and the other women were also a little flustered. Could it be that there was a mistake in the mystical power, and they could not summon their husband? Or was he busy cultivating in seclusion, and could not be distracted? It was troublesome no matter what. The waiting goddess Mingji's expression changed from anticipation to anger. She thought of the man who had saved her but despised her. Could it be that he had already sensed her, and deliberately did not come? That's right. With his personality, he did not care about anyone at all, much less have any burden. If he came today, wouldn't he be telling the enemy that the heavenly Tao was his weakness? The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. Her beautiful face turned cold as she said, "Do it. Destroy the heavenly Tao." Humph. Her subordinates roared. The great Tao sage mobilized his dharmic powers again, and prepared to attack. However, the 3 great Tao Supremes did not move. Their expressions were extremely ugly, as they stared at the black vortex in front of Xing Hongxian. The great Tao Supreme in the middle asked in a low voice, "Who are you?" The originally restless chaotic army fell silent again. Goddess Mingji narrowed his eyes at the black vortex and looked happy. Was he coming? Han Huang, I'll immediately retreat as long as you say the word, Goddess Mingji said, causing the gazes of the heavenly Tao to land on the black vortex. Xing Hongxian snorted. I didn't summon my son. Goddess Mingji was stunned, and her expression turned extremely ugly. She felt like she was being played. What a waste of time. Hurry up and flatten the heavenly Tao. Goddess Mingji shouted hysterically. She sounded crazy, and no longer as graceful as before. The chaotic army was about to take action, when a cold snort sounded. Other than the three great Tao Supremes and Goddess Mingji, the entire chaotic army was suddenly reduced to ashes. Even the seven-headed beast under Goddess Mingji's feet was destroyed in body and soul. A terrifying killing intent locked onto Goddess Mingji, scaring her so much that she was unable to move. The three great Tao Supremes were even more so affected. The heavenly Tao was dumbfounded upon seeing the chaotic army being instantly destroyed. What happened? Who came? The heavenly Tao sages guessed the truth. All of them were excited, but they did not dare to speak, afraid that they would appear rude. Tao Comprehension Sword heaved a sigh of relief and patted her chest. She muttered, I knew it. It's impossible for him to ignore us. Xing Hongxian smiled proudly. Little girl, are you going to continue being arrogant? She was very unhappy with Goddess Mingji. This woman wanted to pursue her son, but she dared to kill his mother. She couldn't have such a daughter-in-law. Goddess Mingji did not answer. She just stared at the black vortex. At this moment, the three great Tao Supremes felt relieved. The leader hurriedly bowed. Thank you for your mercy, Senior. We will never invade the heavenly Tao again. With that, the three great Tao Supremes immediately turned around and transformed into beams of light, bringing Goddess Mingji away. The black vortex in front of Xing Hongxian shrank until it disappeared. The heavenly Tao was in an uproar and cheered. We're saved. It must have been the Divine Might Heavenly Sage just now. Is the Divine Might Heavenly Sage really so powerful? I didn't even see him. That's an existence that surpasses the chaos. How terrifying was that ultimate evil chaotic devil? But wasn't he easily suppressed? Why did he let that demoness go? Inside the Taoist temple, Han Ju was calculating the karma between Goddess Mingji and Han Huang. The reason why he didn't kill her was that Goddess Mingji and Han Huang were actually fated. Marriage was also related to karma. Different cultivation levels could see marriage further away. Han Huang did not have any feelings for Goddess Mingji, but he had never had a woman before. He had never even been tempted. Han Ju hoped that Han Huang would have this experience to stabilize his Tao. As for how long Han Huang and Goddess Mingji would be together, and what the outcome would be, he did not care. What's the big deal? Continue cultivating. Han Ju snorted and continued to break through. Year after year passed. Han Ju welcomed his 290 millionth birthday and accumulated another creation heaven's chosen attempt. He felt the pressure. He had originally hoped to break through before becoming 300 million years old. Now, he was already close to it. Han Ju had no choice but to take out the Book of Misfortune and curse the ninth chaos. He naturally had to cause trouble to the ninth chaos if his breakthrough was slow. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1088 Breakthrough Perfection. Chapter 1088 Breakthrough Perfection. Han Ju's lifespan began to decrease after cursing for 5 days. Just like before, Han Ju cursed the ninth chaos until his cultivation was damaged. Cracks appeared in the chaos again, and a large number of evil devils appeared. Tens of thousands of years later, such a situation also happened in the ultimate origin world. A large number of spatial cracks appeared, and some unknown evil devils were born, bringing calamity to all living beings. Han Ju did this on purpose, as if he was also cursed. As for how many living beings would die, he did not care. The ultimate origin world would eventually face its own calamity. This calamity was equivalent to bringing it forward. From Han Ju's point of view, the life and death of the living beings in the ultimate origin world didn't affect him unless the entire world was destroyed. Then, Han Ju continued cultivating to break through. Apart from Han Ju, no one knew that the ninth chaos was cursed. The ninth chaos had never looked for other Tao creators. Although the chaos was lively, the blank domain was strangely silent. In a mysterious dark space, the evil heavenly emperor stood in front of the formless transcendent deity. His head was lowered as he did not dare to look at the other party. The formless transcendent deity said, "Are you ready?" The evil heavenly emperor said, I'm already prepared. I won't regret it even if I die. If you succeed, not only will you attain the Great Tao Supreme Realm, but you will also create your own Great Tao world. This will pave the way for you in the future. Remember, no matter what you see or encounter, even the feelings of your body are fake. Keep your faith firm. I understand. A pillar of light descended from the sky and landed on his body as soon as the evil heavenly emperor finished speaking. His body was instantly destroyed, and his soul knelt in the pillar of light, trembling in pain. He did not scream or wail, but it was obvious how torturous it was from the looks of his struggling soul. A figure appeared beside the formless transcendent deity at this moment. It was a stone statue man. It was burly and strong, as if it was wearing armor. A pair of abnormally huge stone wings could be seen on its back. Father, do you really trust him? The stone statue asked unhappily. The formless transcendent deity replied, Yes, and I look forward to it. Why? Because I watched him grow. Also, he has another use. What use? You shouldn't know. Father, now that the various great Tao worlds are fighting, we want to be stepping stones for the chaotic life forms. Is that really good? Your favor for the chaotic geniuses has already far exceeded all living beings. You can't even defeat the nine-headed divine spirit, so how can you shoulder the responsibility of all living beings? The stone statue was furious, but it could not refute. I have a mission for you. I will reconsider it if you succeed. What mission? Join the Nine Extremes Orthodoxy and investigate the Dark Forbidden Lord's true identity. All right, the stone statue immediately disappeared. The formless transcendent deity looked at the evil heavenly emperor again and waited quietly. In the Taoist temple of the third Tao field, you are 300 million years old, and your life has taken another step forward. You have the following choices. 1. Exit seclusion immediately and devour all the other great Tao worlds. You can obtain a great Tao fragment, a primordial fragment, a creation spirit stone, and a chance to upgrade the system function. 2. Cultivate in a low-profile manner and maintain your original intention. You can obtain a great Tao fragment, a primordial fragment, a creation spirit stone, and a chance to upgrade the system function. You have obtained a creation heaven's chosen attempt. Hanju opened his eyes and looked defeated. He had failed to break through within the estimated time. Damn it, he was only 100,000 years away. He was about to break through. Hanju silently chose the second option. You chose to cultivate in a low-profile manner and obtained a great Tao fragment, a primordial fragment, a creation spirit stone, and a chance to upgrade the system function. Please choose the system function you desire to upgrade. Hanju looked at the notification in front of him and silently made his choice. The derivation function has begun to upgrade. Hanju's expression softened. He hoped that after upgrading, even an ultimate Tao treasure would not be able to block it. Hanju looked at the ultimate origin soul oblivion ahead. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity had yet to be successfully enslaved. It seemed that he had still underestimated the long time the system had given him. He continued to cultivate. 1,000 years later, the derivation function was successfully upgraded. The derivation function has been successfully upgraded. It can ignore the ultimate Tao treasure's karma protection. Awesome. Hanju smiled. Should he try it? Forget it, I'll break through first. Nothing was more important than his cultivation. Information was minimal as long as he was strong enough. Hanju focused on cultivating. 50,000 years later, Hanju began to break through. He successfully broke through a little more than 3,000 years later. Perfected Tao creator. Hanju felt a long-awaited transformation. He was not the only one. The entire ultimate origin world began to transform. The ultimate origin chi sword. The ultimate origin life forms who had just eliminated the evil devils thought that it was a reward from the heavens. This matter would become an ancient legend in the future. Hanju checked his attributes panel. Name: Hanju. Lifespan: 300,054,049/7. 299, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999, 999 quintillion 999 quadrillion 999 trillion 999 billion 999 million 999,999 race. Ultimate origin fiend celestial, immeasurable emperor. Cultivation. Perfected Tao creator, perfect sage. Technique. Primordial chaos reincarnation Great Tao. Heavenly cycle body tempering technique. Great Tao. Great Tao of life and death. Great Tao of karma. Great Tao of extreme origin, constitution, extreme Tao. Ultimate origin body. His lifespan increased again. Hanju suddenly felt a little vexed. Should he curse the ninth chaos before breaking through? Forget it. Actually, he had always yearned to fight the ninth chaos. He naturally had to have a satisfying victory to celebrate becoming a creator lord. This was also the reason why he would not go overboard every time he cursed the ninth chaos. He wanted to delay the other party's cultivation progress, but he did not want his cultivation level to fall too much. Only the ninth chaos could be an opponent on the path of invincibility. Hanju treated him as the ultimate boss. Facing such an existence, it would be too regretful if he didn't fight him. Hanju's cultivation finally stabilized after hundreds of thousands of years. He felt more than 100 times stronger compared to when he was a late-stage Tao creator. Even if it was a minor realm, the higher one went, the greater the difference. Hanju started the simulation trial. He challenged the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity. After all, this fellow was at the mid-stage Tao creator realm. He was stronger than the formless transcendent deity and the immeasurable destruction venerable. 100,000 Yin-Yang void Nirvana deities. Instant kill. Tao creators were not undying in the simulation trial. There was only a pure comparison of strength. Hanju directly raised it to 1,000,000 Yin-Yang void Nirvana deities in one go. He finally felt a little pressure. It took him a third of a second to kill them all. 2,000,000 Yin-Yang void Nirvana deities. This time the pressure was great. All the great Tao worlds would probably be instantly destroyed when that vast power gathered together, including the transcendent rule, destroying the past, present, and future. Awesome. Hanju finally felt his blood boiling. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1089 Tao Heavenly Race. Chapter 1089 Tao Heavenly Race. Hanju's mood returned to normal after playing the simulation trial for a few days. He didn't leave the Taoist temple. Instead, he continued to wait for the ultimate origin heavenly prison to end enslaving the target. He looked outside the Taoist temple. The 9 divine stars and Shani were gathered together to cultivate. Their cultivation levels were at least at the mid-stage Great Tao Supreme Realm. Hanju wondered if he should tell them to go train outside. It could be seen that these guys also yearned for the chaos. Hanju created a clone and went to teach the 9 divine stars and Shani. Time passed. Millions of years later, the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity was finally enslaved. Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, max. The ultimate origin soul dissipated, and the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity condensed his main body. He knelt in front of him respectfully. Hanju asked some questions and instructed some things before sending the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity back to the blank domain. The Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity appeared in the blank domain. Just as he was about to fly back to his great Tao world, the immeasurable destruction venerable sent a voice transmission to him. The 2 Tao creators appeared in a mysterious space. What happened earlier? The immeasurable destruction venerable asked. After I lost, I went to the divine might heavenly sages Tao field to listen to the Tao. The Tao discussion during this period of time has benefited me greatly. I'm preparing to enter seclusion. Just listening to the Tao. Yes, the divine might heavenly sage is an ascetic. He warned me that if I find trouble with him again, he won't be so easy to talk to next time. I also promised not to scheme against the ultimate origin world. The Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity's answer made the immeasurable destruction venerable less confused. That's right. The battle between Hanju and the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity was not a spar. They were clearly angry. If that was the case, how could they discuss the Tao after the battle? The immeasurable destruction Venerable gloated upon hearing that the yin-yang purity nirvana deity had been warned by Hanju. He had always been unhappy with the yin-yang purity nirvana deity. He had been bullied by this fellow before. The yin-yang purity nirvana deity snorted. Is there anything else? If you want to see a joke, I can let you experience my previous feelings. Nothing had changed. He was still so domineering and arrogant. The two Tao creators chatted for a while before leaving. The immeasurable destruction Venerable came to another mysterious space. The chaotic consciousness and the formless transcendent deity were waiting here. How's the situation? The chaotic consciousness asked. He's fine. He was warned by the divine might heavenly sage. The divine might heavenly sage can enslave the enemy. Has he been? Impossible. We are Tao creators. Even the chaos can only suppress us. How can we be enslaved? I see that his temperament and words haven't changed. True. It sounded impossible to enslave a Tao creator and make him loyal to him. Unless the yin-yang purity nirvana deity was convinced, it was impossible for him to serve Hanju willingly, especially after his defeat. The formless transcendent deity said should wait and see. With the chaotic consciousness and the immeasurable destruction Venerable nodded. Clearly, the divine might heavenly sage and the ninth chaos would definitely fight in the future. The divine might heavenly sage's performance shocked the three Tao creators when he battled the yin-yang purity nirvana deity. This child could already resist the ninth chaos. The chaotic consciousness sighed. Where did he come from? Could he be the reincarnation of an ancient existence before us? The formless transcendent deity and the immeasurable destruction, Venerable nodded in agreement. They couldn't answer. At least, they thought that Hanju definitely had another identity. It was impossible for him to become so powerful in just 300 million years. Perhaps Hanju was the legendary primordial fiend celestial? No matter what, they realized that Hanju was no longer someone they could scheme against. They could already see an unprecedented battle coming. What they could do now was to protect themselves and all the living beings in the great Tao world. 310 million years old. Hanju called the 9 divine stars and Shani into the Taoist temple. The 10 descendants were very excited. How many years had it been? They had finally returned. They looked at Hanju carefully. After so many years, Hanju didn't change at all, but they felt that he had become stronger. The ancestor had been in seclusion for so long. It was impossible for him to not have gained anything. 9 divine stars, I'll send you on a mission. Go to the chaos and capture the ultimate origin fiend celestial, Hanju said. The ultimate origin fiend celestial was the ultimate origin cultivation potential nurtured by Han Ling. Now in the heavenly court, this fellow used the name of the ultimate origin fiend celestial and insulted Hanju. It was a good opportunity to train the 9 divine stars. Han Zhongdao asked, Are you going to reveal our identities? Hanju said, You can use the name of 9 divine stars, but you can't mention me or the hidden sect. Understood. The 9 divine stars were all excited and rubbed their palms together. They could finally take action after waiting for so many years. Shani looked at Hanju in anticipation after the 9 divine stars left. Hanju said, Continue cultivating. The Tao of curses is different from the 9 divine stars. You have to hide in the dark in the future and stay by my side. Shani felt bitter, but he did not dare to refute. Hanju smiled. I'll bring you out for a walk when I'm free in the future. Shani hurriedly thanked him. Hanju started to check his emails. Transcendent existences appeared less frequently, but the battles in the chaos increased. Hanju noticed an email. Your good friend Tao ancestor obtained the help of your good friend Pangu to create a creation race. His providence has increased greatly. Creation race? Hanju was secretly curious. He deduced. He discovered that Pangu and Hongjun had joined forces to create a human race. It looked identical to the human race, but its physique far exceeded that of the heavenly Tao human race. This new race was called the Tao heavenly race. The Tao heavenly race was not in the heavenly Tao, but in a corner of the chaos. They didn't reveal themselves for the time being. The talent of this race was almost comparable to the chaotic fiend celestials. It contained Penga's blood essence and the Tao ancestors' great Tao comprehension. It was indeed impressive. Hanju was only interested and had no intention of interfering. Pangu and the Tao ancestor were already not on the same level as him. In addition, the two sides were not enemies, so he naturally would not suppress them. No one's cultivation speed could catch up to his. Hanju naturally wouldn't suppress the juniors. It was meaningless to be too invincible. It was also interesting for juniors to overestimate themselves and challenge him occasionally. Previously, he was not strong enough and didn't want to be disturbed. However, he was about to become invincible and naturally needed someone to disturb him. It was not embarrassing to posture. At the same time, Transcendent Domain, Creation Emperor Court. Han Huang had just fused with a power that transcended the supreme rules when his cultivation level increased greatly. The formless transcendent deity had only given him the power divided by the supreme rules, not the supreme rules themselves. Otherwise, the transcendent domain would have collapsed. Han Huang opened his eyes as killing intent flashed across them. His mentality also changed as he became stronger. He had looked down on the other races ever since he was born, but he wouldn't take the initiative to bully them. However, now he suddenly felt a little lonely. Thank you for reading on my box novel. Com. Chapter 1090 Great Tao Immeasurable Calamities Karma. Chapter 1090 Great Tao Immeasurable Calamities Karma. Looks like my heart is not strong enough. I have great cultivation but no Tao heart. Han Huang muttered to himself. He would think of his father every time he was puzzled. His father had never lost control or complained according to his understanding. No matter how exciting and chaotic the outside world was, he had always been immersed in his seclusion cultivation. He wanted to do the same, so he had not gone out to do anything all these years. However, as time passed, he could not help but feel hostility. Han Huang felt that something would happen to him if this continued. Once he lost control, it would not be good for him or all living beings. He felt lonely and developed killing intent. Now he also felt that he was terrifying. However, the thought of destroying all living beings in the chaos appeared in his heart. It was very difficult for him to extinguish it. Han Huang stood up and moved to the Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court Imperial Garden. Han Huang and the evil Heavenly Emperor drank immortal wine. The evil Heavenly Emperor had already become a great Tao Supreme. His every move was domineering. Compared to the aura of power in the past, it was now absolute confidence caused by strength. Han Huang expressed his distress. The evil Heavenly Emperor frowned upon hearing that Han Huang actually had such hostility. The evil Heavenly Emperor said in a low voice, "Looks like the primordial fiend celestial is more terrifying than I imagined. No wonder there was chaos after the primordial destruction. Huanger, you can be the primordial fiend celestial, but your father can't be a chaotic fiend celestial. If he can suppress his hostility, why can't you?" Han Huang smiled bitterly. There can only be one primordial fiend celestial in the chaos. Father gave me his bloodline before I was born. I see. No wonder you were nurtured for so long. I'm afraid of letting father down, so I don't dare to act according to my personality, Han Huang said worriedly, not losing his usual arrogance. The evil Heavenly Emperor narrowed his eyes. Is it possible that the situation you're encountering now is not from your bloodline, but the Great Tao Immeasurable Calamity? The Great Tao Immeasurable Calamity needs the primordial fiend celestial. In my opinion, it's definitely not as simple as the rumors. It must be some connection between the primordial fiend celestial and the Great Tao Immeasurable Calamity. Han Huang was moved. That wouldn't be his problem if that was the case. The evil Heavenly Emperor said earnestly, Huanger, you should find your father. I don't know why you don't like to trouble your father. You're not the only one. Tuor is the same. From my point of view, your father won't mind helping you. The evil Heavenly Emperor thought of his sons and gritted his teeth. They were either unfilial or wanted to overthrow him. Especially Long Hao. Fortunately, he had entrusted Long Hao to Hanju back then. Long Hao's respect for Hanju far exceeded his. This kid was probably willing to let Long Hao die. Han Huang was silent. The evil heavenly emperor raised his wine cup and did not disturb his thoughts. But father is very afraid of trouble. He's usually busy in seclusion. Han Huang frowned. The evil heavenly emperor smiled. That was in the past. He was not strong enough, so that was naturally the case. Now, who do you think is your father's match? Han Huang was enlightened. That's right. That was in the past. Han Huang had been wandering the chaos for so long, but he couldn't think of anyone who could match his father. Even the Transcendent Lord had said that he was not his father's match. As for the ninth chaos, Han Huang had never heard of it. The ninth chaos was an unknown existence to him and the evil heavenly emperor. They had never even heard of a legend. Han Huang immediately stood up and left after figuring it out. The evil heavenly emperor shook his head and laughed. This brat is really anxious. He still has to look for his brother to drink. Speaking of which, when should I go and drink with his father? 10 million years later, Hanju opened his eyes and felt Han Huang waiting outside. He had been waiting for millions of years. He called Han Huang in as he started to check his emails. Your descendant Han Zhongdao was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure. Your descendant Han Fan was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure. Your descendant Long Minggu was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure. Your daughter Han Ling received a dream from a transcendent existence. Her cultivation has increased. Your disciple Dao Sovereign was attacked by a purity cultivator, X40982182. Your disciple, your good friend Huang Zuantian, created a primordial mystical power. His cultivation has increased greatly. Your son Han Tua has entered the river of destiny. The emails were really lively. Hanju read them with relish. Han Huang came in front of him and bowed respectfully. Father, I'm here to find you. I need your help. Tell me. I've been feeling hostility recently. I keep thinking. Han Huang talked about his situation, attracting Hanju's attention. Speaking of which, although they were both primordial fiend celestials, Hanju was a postnatal primordial fiend celestial that had evolved. Han Huang was different. He was born as a primordial fiend celestial. In a sense, Hanju had different thoughts from him. Even if an azure dragon was raised by mortals, it was impossible for it to treat everyone as its own. This was the difference in the bloodline. Hanju had no choice but to use the derivation function. Why does Han Huang want to destroy all living beings in the chaos? 500 trillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. The Great Tao Immeasurable Calamity's karmic influence involves the blank domain's transcendent rule. There were transcendent rules in the blank domain, but this made sense. The birth of everything had a source after all. The chaos was born in the primordial chaos, and the primordial chaos was born in the blank space. Hanju didn't know how the blank space existed for the time being. From the looks of it, the Great Tao Immeasurable Calamity needed Han Huang to go berserk and cause all living beings to fight him. They would fight until the chaos shattered and the endless era arrived. It was impossible for Han Huang to directly shatter the chaos. In that case, there was no choice. Hanju said meaningfully, "Since you can't control it, do as you wish." Han Huang was stunned, thinking that he had heard wrongly. Hanju said, "Who doesn't have negative karma on the path of cultivation? The rules need order. And order will definitely be tainted by the slaughter calamity. Perhaps you have let down all the living beings in the chaos, but you will be the #1 contributor to all the beings in the future of the endless era. A new race will definitely appear in the endless era. A new world that executes destruction and slaughter is also part of the natural order. All living beings can accept death by the rules. All living beings just can't accept being killed by other living beings. However, you will transcend living beings after crossing this hurdle." Han Huang frowned as the killing intent in his eyes began to burst out. He naturally wouldn't restrain his killing intent with Hanju's support. In fact, the reason why he didn't want to attack all living beings was that he was afraid his father would be disappointed. Now that he actually supported him, what couldn't he figure out? This is the Great Tao Immeasurable Calamity. Fight with all living beings and destroy the chaos. Hanju smiled. Although he said it heartlessly, it was the truth. Han Huang asked, "Then, What will happen to me when the endless era arrives? I really don't have to pay the price? He was not stupid. He had heard many legends of the heavenly Tao's immeasurable calamity. Although the devil ancestor, the ancestral magus, the demon emperor, the devil emperor, and so on pushed for the calamity, all of them did not end up well. The ones who benefited were only those existences who secretly controlled everything. Hanju said, "Yes, someone will definitely kill you in the name of righteousness to obtain a huge opportunity." Thank you for reading on my box novel. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.